If anyone's wondering what is going on in this corner, this is Talkaoke, pop-up talk show. Come and take a seat. Help us get this going. What's your name? My name's Mikey. It looks like we've got a gathering of people around. Come and pull in around the table. We're just about to start. So my name's Mikey. No need to run away. Don't be scared, don't be shy, this has been electrically tested. We had a few problems earlier on, but you know, we've solved that now. Come and have a seat on the table of chat.
Come here.
So we're just about to start. So my name's Mikey, what's your name? Oh, hang on, I just need to turn you up a little bit. Oh, hang on. You're very quiet, Sarah. No, oh I know, hang on.
Mikey, this is my friend.
Okay, cool.
Sit down, please.
Okay, so let's try that again. Hello, yeah. Hello? Is that working? Can you hear that? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Yeah, it's working. Okay, good. So, okay, we'll turn this one up a little bit. This is Talkaoke, pop-up talk show. We've got Sarah and Mikey. What's your name? Angela, welcome. And what's your name? Jem, you've chosen the most comfortable seat there. So the way Talkaoke works is kind of up to you to decide what you want to talk about. It could be anything. My job is simply to pass the microphone around. Yeah, take a seat, come and have a seat. We've got Sarah, we've got Jem, we've got Angela, and Mikey, what's your name? Come and help us get this going, 2 minutes. What's your name? What's in the bag? Is what? Ticket. Why is it in a carrier bag? Anyway, this is not that important right now. We need a subject. We need to find out what people are talking about here. We're here at Immerse. Do people feel immersed? Do you feel immersed? No. Sarah, do you feel immersed?
Not yet, I've only just arrived.
Okay, so you're not, in a way, it's a bit like going to the swimming pool that first.
Mostly on the edge.
Yeah, just sitting at the edge. Just want to
dip my toes.
Yeah, dip your toes in the water. I mean, I guess that's the sort of equivalent, isn't it, really, of like the toe in the water is the sort of beginning of being immersed. Do you want to be immersed? Jem, do you feel immersed?
Do I feel immersed?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Well, that's the name of this event, Jem.
Yeah.
It's immersed. But Sarah said she's just like feeling like she's just got a toe in the water, if that.
I'm attending as a worker, so I'm more immersed in the working of immersing people.
Yeah. So you're immersed in work. Okay. Well, you're all immersed in something. If you're not immersed in water, then I suppose you're immersed in air.
Would you say you both are immersed in social media? What do you think about social media?
Okay, Jim, well, we've got a technique here on Talkaoke called Turn the Mirror. And I'm going to ask you that question. Do you feel immersed in social media?
I feel submerged in social media because it is diluted. We could be immersed in social media, but probably not.
Okay, just you're submerged but not immersed.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, Angela, do you feel immersed in social media? No. Okay. Are you in what? Immersed in confusion. What's your name, first?
My name is Tito.
Tito. Okay, Tito, we've got Jem, we've got Angela, we've got Sarah and Mikey. We're talking about this idea of immersion. Now, Jem has said that he feels submerged in social media, but it's not the same as immersed.
How could we be immersed? How could we be immersed in social media or through social media? Is there a way?
I don't know. I don't think anyone really knows 100% what you're talking about.
No, I don't even know what I'm talking about.
Come and have a seat, come and get involved in this. We have got Angela, we've got Jem, we've got Tito, we've got Sarah, and Mikey. What's your name? Jalway. At the moment we're talking about immersion because it's kind of just a starting point that we just plucked out of the air really because this festival is called Immerse, or conference, whatever it is. But people don't feel immersed. However, it's been pointed out you have to be immersed in something. If you're not immersed in the water, then you're immersed in the air. And Jem over there feels immersed in two things. He's immersed in work and he's submerged in social media. So I'm kind of asking people, do they feel immersed in anything?
That's a good way of putting it, what you said about people submerged in social media and immersed in work around it.
Yeah.
I think those are the two components that we need to implement together to create the kind of true immersion that we're trying to find, maybe. Like,
Yeah.
having it function not too complicated, but also being interactive with everyone around us.
Yeah.
In a kind of networking kind of scale and scheme. So I think with the immersion, it's kind of difficult to find out where to find or how to execute the kind of middle ground of where to immerse yourself in this.
But, I mean, you know, going back to the swimming pool metaphor, is it something that we really want to do, to be immersed? Or do we want to just dip our toe in the water, all of this technology? Or just be between boundaries of inside and outside it? Are these questions too tough for a first starting point? I don't know. Is it too tough a question? Yeah.
What do you mean by immersion? Like, explain it to me like I'm a 5-year-old.
Okay, well I didn't come up with it, so I don't, yeah.
I think it's actually quite a philosophical concept. And
Yeah.
also, the idea of immersion is really subjective.
Yeah.
I think for some people it's like, oh, I need to immerse in a swimming pool, that's
Yeah.
immersion.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you can say that you have to be.
Hang on, sorry, let me get a final thought from you, Sarah. Oh, it's too late. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, but the
Yeah.
idea
I
is
think
like,
we got too heavy, we got too deep, too philosophical, too quickly.
no, it's like the idea that
Yeah.
we live here and we're inside this universe and that we
Yeah.
are already immersed
Yeah.
in this universe and in the surrounding. That is immersion itself.
Yeah.
Then I think like what you said, that's actually true. What's the definition of immersion?
Yeah.
You know?
How can we implement the idea of immersion with the kind of technology that we're in?
Yeah.
It's very difficult to kind of imagine, but that's what we're trying
Yeah.
to reach.
I mean, do we want to be immersed in this technology? Is it something that we really want? Or are we happy with being immersed in the universe? As you said, I don't know, Angela, that's a simple yes or no question, it's not too difficult. Are you happy just being immersed in the universe as is? Just part
Sure, and that's
yeah?
I feel immersed in this world.
Yeah.
Of course, it's because of the evolution, we got immersed in present tense.
Yeah, okay. But just the ordinary reality is kind of fine for you.
But the thing is, if you look at some of the examples over there, one of the VR thing I really liked was the internal gardens, right? And you get the sub pack and feel like, oh, I'm kind of immersed in the nature. But I'm just questioning, you know, just for me, like, are we trying to recreate like the nature immersion effect using technology when in fact there's actually nature out there already? Why can't we just go escape into, you know, not a holiday resort, but far away from everyday life, and that's immersion. And I do question is like, okay, now we have the technology, and isn't it counterintuitive that we're actually trying to recreate that what we already have?
Yeah.
If you know, that just
In other words, are you trying to say with the talk of transitioning from this world to the you're not really from? It's like we try. I know what you mean. It's almost like playing
So let me just involve this person here. 2 minutes, come on, just very, very quickly. We're talking about this whole, what is the point of kind of being immersed in technology and having this great simulation of being, you know, by a lake with beautiful trees, when you could just go to the lake and just kind of be immersed in nature. That's what we're talking about at the moment. We've got Xiaowei, Tito, Angela, what's your name?
I'm Isabella.
Isabella.
Yes.
Have you got a view on this?
I do actually. I have a project here called Human Instrument.
Yeah.
And it's basically about mixing nature, technology, and health.
Yeah.
So basically, we are projecting sound to make it immersive.
Yeah.
And with a sort of cymatic experience, we are projecting that sound onto water. So, as you're saying, you go into the lake, there's nothing really that compares to any organic feeling.
Yeah.
So yes, we're talking about all this, but again, going back to the roots of it, right?
Yeah.
Like sacred geometry and all this, it's really in nature already.
So you think the technology just enhances some of the elements of nature that exist already?
Absolutely.
Okay. So is it just a kind of enhancement, like a sort of turning up the volume of nature?
Well, it's turning it up, and also in a place where we are in a city, like training in the city and just busy all the time.
Yeah.
We don't have that to turn it back to nature. It's very important. Just I come from Canada, and Canada right now is a lot of winter.
Yeah.
So, for example, I need green air, and being able to get immersed into a green environment, for example, is amazing.
Okay. So at the moment, Canada's a bit too snowed out. So there are times when you can't be immersed in the right kind of nature. It's too cold in Canada. It's about turning up the volume. Any views on this?
I think with the environments like Canada, it's like you kind of exposed to this this living outside, which is very like, chilly. And with the immersive kind of technology, you're able to say, hey, we have this kind of software device that helps you experience a whole other experience that you're not used to. In a way, it's a nice bit of convenience in the sense of leisure, I'd say. Like much more, hey, I get this nice experience, it's great, and you really delve yourself into something new that's not been experienced before. It's really immersing yourself. I think in a sense, that's immersing yourself to the new kind of technology, what technology can do for you. So that, in a sense, is already immersive enough.
Okay, come and have a seat at the table of chat. We're talking about, we've lost Isabella, but we've got a replacement. I mean, not that, like you've got anything to do with Isabella, I probably don't even know who she is. We don't, we never found out. Except we found out she comes from Canada and she misses the green. At this time of year it's all white and snowy. And I guess what we're talking about is like immersion. Can you, if you're immersing yourself in technology which is simulating nature, why not just immerse yourself in nature? And I've heard arguments against that. Maybe the nature is too cold or too snowy or too far away. I don't know, Joe Wayne, does that make sense to you? Is that
It's not that I'm for or against immersion ideas, right? It's just like more for discussion. The fact we have this want to recreate this immersion experience is for us to actually get back into nature again, and that's the aim of it. And sometimes you do question, it's like, okay, we have the nature available, why do we still try to recreate? Like, it's counterintuitive. But I also acknowledge that we are living in London, and you just don't get in touch with nature that easily. And that's the best alternative, I suppose, with VR and sometimes with that.
I mean, I guess then there's a question of like, does that mean that we can just build over our parks and our green spaces in London and in there have some kind of VR environment where you can just immerse yourself in any kind of nature? You say no?
No, it's really trees,
Yeah.
Yeah, respect that. Otherwise, we'll just end up with no noses after.
Okay, so we'll evolve.
We won't go for the group, and why not?
So will we in the end evolve more to technology, lose our, will we end up with no nose? So what's your name? Jennifer. So we've got Angela, we've got Jiawei. Let me say it a second. Jiawei. Okay. And then Mikey. We're talking about technology, how it fits with nature. Will we end up losing our parks if we have got this access to do? Give us a final thought, Jennifer. Oh, you're on the phone. Okay. Okay. Final thoughts, right? We're all too immersed in technology.
Not really. Like someone trying to integrate nature with technology, so we can actually find a balance somewhere. It's not like you have technology, you don't have nature, and you have nature, you don't have technology. I think we'll find a balance in harmony.
Yeah. So it's about the balance. What is it, just as a final thought, how do we find that balance between nature and technology?
I don't know, I think that's a good question for everyone to explore. That's the whole idea, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, any starters there, any sort of thoughts on that? What is the important thing to kind of, What are we balancing exactly?
I don't know, maybe it's more like a long journey, exploring and to get to know a bit more about yourself. And that's why I was okay, tech and nature, and just doing something aspirational. So it all gets a bit vague and
I mean, I think this thing about the sort of self-awareness as well, because what do we actually need when it comes to nature and technology? Who are we in that? Are we nature? Are we technology? Are we a bit of both?
I think we are nature's best technology.
We are nature's best technology.
I don't really got to
That's a good, but excellent final thought though. Thanks for contributing. We are nature's best technology. So far, I might add to that.
Thank you.
Okay, so it's Stu and me. You know, the pressure's on now. Unless we entice Tito back in again. Okay, we've managed to get Tito back in. We need to grow this a little bit. This is a crucial discussion here. The question that Xiao Wei has put on the table is, are we actually nature's best technology so far? That's what we're talking about here. You know, when it comes to this balance between nature and technology, is it us that actually holds the balance in a way? We are the balance between nature and technology. We're at the fulcrum, so to speak, of nature and technology. Angela, have you got yours?
I mean, I could be wrong, but I see humans as like nature's fastest growing product, nature all the new. So it's really, like John was saying, we must find our inspiration on how to really improve our immersiveness through our nature and the nature around us.
So in a way, in this immersive technology, we're actually enhancing our own nature.
Exactly. So at the end of the day, we're trying to create our own nature or environments. It's like really, let's look around us. See how it functions, how things work, everything's diverse.
I was just trying to chat this person's attention. Come and have a seat on the table of chat. Are you nature? Are you technology? That's you. Yes. Come and have. We've got Tito. We've got Angela and Mikey. What's your name? Mike. Mike, come and have a seat. We're talking about nature and technology. We're like, you know, what is the balance between nature and technology?
So I was saying to him that with the immersive technology that's around us, as in like on the exterior, how we can really make it form anyways, yeah. And we were saying how we look at the nature around us as inspiration for when you want to create VR kind of environments and stuff like that, and how we must really use touch of that. Because the more we are aware of here, the more we can implement that into our immersive technology, where we can find ourselves in that world and make it as realistic as possible. But we're in and out of saying, is it good right now? Is it needed? What do you think?
I mean, do you find we've got another? Come and have a sit down on the table. You can film on the table. We've got Martin, we've got Tito, we've got Angela and Mikey. We're talking about this balance between nature and technology. Are we too immersed in technology, not immersed enough in nature? Is technology actually enhancing our own nature? That's what some of the questions on the table.
I think we need more technology. Because nature's getting a bit overrated, you know. We've been with it for a long time.
So, are you a bit bored of nature?
So I went to that, go a little bit faster.
Okay, so we need to accelerate actually. Okay, what's your name?
Roger.
Roger, we've got
Roger Williams.
We've got Martin, we've got Tito, we've got Angela and Mikey. So we need to actually accelerate this. Will this accelerate our nature? We need to accelerate.
I don't know about that message. I don't know about that one. The first thing is with this stuff is that it all depends on what I've noticed with things that come out. It's the ease of use.
Right.
And if it's not easy enough, people don't want it. You have like 3D TVs and this and that and all this stuff. And you've got that VR thing. It's like this big. It's like, I never want to put it on. It hurts my nose and this stuff. And you just use that whole technology to instead of it.
Okay.
And then you've obviously got people manipulating technology to sell you stuff, so that you need it. You was doing all right before. I'm in the mic.
Yeah.
But I'm talking to you, it's really
I know,
strange.
but we need to, what we need to do is we need to grow this conversation because it's an important conversation, hence the microphone. We're trying to get these people involved, interested in that, once they've got unhooked from their mobile
Well, there you
phones.
go, there you go. There's an example right there, mobile phones.
Yeah.
Has that helped us
They're
out
hooked in.
a way that no one talks to anyone anymore? Everyone's got virtual friends, but no real friends.
Yeah.
Take fake photographs to say how good your life is.
Yeah.
It's not my cup of tea. I'm not on social media. I don't do any of that stuff because I like to talk to people and
You're in the right place.
yeah, man, see what's going on, man.
I've got some blueberries.
Thing is, Martin, I don't have many friends.
Yeah, okay. So you want technology instead? Have a blueberry.
Thanks. So I want some more. I want more tech, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, with VR and everything, I like it, but I think it needs more content, more cinematic content, something that some kind of blockbuster has to come along
Yeah.
to kickstart the
Yeah.
actual, the actual film world.
Yeah, so there needs to be some kind of epic virtual reality blockbuster that people are so immersed in that it actually changes the whole way that people think about virtual reality. Yeah.
You just find the right medium for it. Because I've had a discussion about films and stuff. Normally when you watch a film, like I'm looking at you right now, and I'm talking to you, you're looking behind me. I'm looking to you about what's behind me. So at that point in the film, in VR, I'm looking at what's actually in front of me. So I don't really need to know what's going behind me. If it's like a game like we just played a minute ago, then it really works. But it's only certain games it really works. You know? If it's not too much. But some of that stuff there, you're dodging things, and it's only a block, it's only a ball, it's the way it comes at you. And when we go to a 3D film, and you've obviously thrown something at the camera, it feels really fake. It's come at you, that's fake, and it's really for their 3D effect. But on the right medium, the right thing, it will work really well. And maybe it isn't a cinematic thing, maybe it's just actually what's happening now. Maybe it's like a Skype thing, or being in a place where you're not.
But what about this question you mentioned earlier about the interconnectedness? Are we going to have that? When you're in a cinema, you're effectively sitting by yourself. I mean, you might be on a date or whatever, but it's kind of you just by yourself. And what about the social side? Can we immerse ourselves together into this meeting?
That's a difficult one because when you're with someone else, they help you realize you're in the reality of today. So it's kind of difficult to alternate yourself from the film to you being there. So it's really having to overlay what you know in this reality and have the film immerse you so much with sight, smell, and all those senses to really keep you indulged in what's going on.
So in a way, having your friends or having other people there is actually could be distracting rather than a plus point. It could actually be, well, you know what? I don't know if you two know each other. But is like if you're in virtual reality, is having Martin there actually a distraction rather than a sort of like a help to make it a virtual reality? Can we get involved in this? We're talking about immersion, and can we be immersed as a group, or do we need to be immersed on our own?
It's a point where so I'm going to put on a machine and immerse myself, but then I want to include somebody else, which means that I'll just take it off and just have your normal stuff like what you film. If you're going to have it on, you're going to have to make another link, because most things we do in life is much better when you do it somebody else. So you watch a film and you laugh at the same joke, and you'll talk about that joke. On down the line, you say you see that thing. If you're on your own thing, then maybe sometimes it's not as funny. Someone knows just laugh with you.
Okay, so definitely when it comes to comedy, when it comes to humour, that's something that has to be done as a group, not as an individual. Because it kind of helps. It does help, you're nodding as well, Roger. Do you agree?
I do. I agree. Because you know, because like, especially in a comedy club, you know what I mean? You know, the other people in the audience help me to understand what the joke is.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, yeah. So you're kind of taking along with the whole thing. Angela, have you on this? Do you feel that that's an issue with it being immersed? That you're kind of immersed on your own rather than immersed as a group? You've got a view on it? Not really? Okay. But, you know, I mean, you're great at having Feburary. Let's get some more people involved in this, because at the moment it feels like it's, you know, I mean, it is also important to, you know, like, I think you're kind of like, whether you say something or not, you're part of this conversation, you're a witness to this, which I think is very, you know, is also part of it. And it's in a way, it's a question for me as well, because I do a thing that's intrinsically social. How do you take this into a virtual reality space where you lose that sociability because everybody's wearing a mask and there's no eye contact?
It would be a new social, a new social norm to have you know, people in their own space, but also with other people from all over the world.
Yeah.
You know, and just sitting down there together. You might not be there. You know, as far as social networking goes, and you know, staying in touch with friends, it's really good. You know, I mean, I come here and I've been trying out this sub pack. You know, and I love bass. Right? But I love loud bass. But my neighbours don't like it.
Right.
So you know, I don't mind the headphones.
You don't live in Hackney by any chance, do you?
No, I don't.
Okay, no, I'm just checking.
No.
But I've got neighbours that like bass. You know.
Because bass is it's a lovely frequency in your body.
Yeah, it's good. It kind of vibrates your body.
Yeah. So this sub pack thing is like it really works. Along with the headphones, you know.
Yeah.
It's
so in a way, you could be sort of experiencing a really loud gig all around the world. Whoever's got the sub pack on.
Yeah. I mean, like, we could go clubbing. All right. You wouldn't pull. Maybe you'd pull. That's too much work to pull in VR.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is a question. You know, could you actually, at a club, you meet people, you get to actually, you know, you've got that chemistry. You can, as Roger says, you can pull. But can you do it in the virtual reality situation? This is the question. Tito, have you got any views on this?
I think. Sorry, what was your question?
Tito, have you ever been to like a nightclub or you know to a concert, playing loud bass, everyone's moving? It's a moment. It's a very fluid moment where it's easy to get to know other people. You know where I'm coming from. Has that ever happened to you?
Yeah, like with those kind of environments, it's not just what you're thinking and what you're seeing, it's what you're feeling, the music that you get. You're immersing all levels of yourself. So with those kind of environments, they're really stimulating you on all levels, which is sight, smell, sound, and with that, you're really indulged in the environment, what's going on. So with those kind of environments, it's a key.
But could that ever be replicated in a virtual environment?
I think it could. With the right kind of technology, but it starts with considering what it is that makes us truly immersed. And once we do that, we can be able to really explore how to do that in many different ways. So I think
so basically that's a yes. I'm going to take that as a yes. It is possible to be immersed, to pull in that environment. It's kind of said it in a roundabout way. Angela, what do you think? Is it possible to pull in a immersive in a VR immersive environment? Yes or no? Yes. Yes. Have you got a final thought? What I can see. Yeah. Okay, so get immersed in whatever you love, whatever that is. Okay.
We're gonna love your leaving now.
Okay, give us a final thought, Roger.
I think anything that brings everyone together is much better.
Yeah. So it's about bringing people together in a way. We want to be immersed together.
Yes.
I guess. Yes. Okay. Final thought?
We're always better when we're together.
Okay, so better together. I will when no one's together with me anymore, but don't worry, I can deal with it. It's happened before. Thanks everyone that's taken part for this session. Thank you. Have you got a final thought, Tito?
I think immersive technology is a step forward into how to really new technology at this day and age, and I think it could be really good in how we use it the right way. So I think we need to explore.
I mean, what about this, Chris? This is just one for the next session. What about if you're in a VR immersive environment, you're in a virtual nightclub, you know, your avatar gets together with another avatar, there's some kind of digital chemistry, let's say, and you do fall in that environment. But how do you know that person could be like, you know, a 95-year-old guy from Bolton or something like that, you know? That's what it's like already.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, some 95-year-old bloke from Bolton, I'd give it a go.
Okay, but okay. Well, there we go. And that's it. We will be back for more Talkaoke. Thanks very much.
Their music will live beyond their lives. That's just what music is. The beauty of it. It's forever. But I think that the way that technology is going, we will. I think pretty soon, maybe 10, 20 years, we'll go to like a gig where none of the artists are actually alive.
Yeah. Okay. So you'll go to a gig. Come on. Would you like to have dinner with a virtual 2-pack? That's what we're talking about now. And I don't mean a 2-pack of lager. I mean 2-pack the musician.
The only problem I see with that is that then you get licensed, then you get into commercials, and all of a sudden Tupac's on TV selling vacuum cleaners. He used to be like this person who was really so dynamic, and now he's just like a sales pitch guy.
I mean, you know, I'm just thinking like, if I'm going to have a virtual dinner, I'd rather have dinner with Keira Knightley than with my mum. Do you know what I mean? I mean, sorry mum, but like, isn't that going to be more compelling to rival? Who would you like to have dinner with? Your mum or with a famous film star or musician?
That's the one with
Okay, maybe we should go around and find out who people would like to have this virtual dinner with, and find out who would you like to have a virtual dinner with?
Family.
You'd go family, yeah, all the way. Even if you could do it with 2-pack or other stars. Okay, I'm going to go around the table.
I mean, the joke immediately in mind is somebody like Albert Einstein, just because it's so intriguing. But if I thought we for longer, I'd probably come up with somebody more sort of recent.
Okay, so you would go Albert Einstein. Jan, before you go, who would you have your virtual dinner with?
Oh, that's a hard question. It would. So I would have said 2-pack, but you already said 2-pack. So it's probably going to have to be. You know what? It would be Malcolm X.
Malcolm X, okay. Okay, wow, okay.
I would say
would he make
someone who could cook in between the plates.
Okay. So, I don't know, would that be mum?
Well, no, I mean literally, I wouldn't be impressed if the hologram just stayed in there.
Okay, so that hologram's actually...
Einstein on a 2-pack.
Yeah? Doesn't matter how successful or famous you are, you still got to do washing up?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, interesting, okay. All right, so we've got to go. Okay, give us a final thought before you go. Thanks for joining us.
Be present, but also be submerged with your whales.
Okay.
Immersed.
When you're immersed, you've got to be aware that you're immersed.
Breathing is important.
Do you feel immersed right now?
I feel. Yes.
Okay. And are you aware that you're immersed? Okay.
I'm sat at a big LED donut table.
So it's kind of obvious, yeah. Okay.
I like your shirt.
Oh, thank you. This is a new shirt for me, actually. Well, it's not new, thank you. Thank you. I'm Mikey. And,
can I just say crush the patriarchy?
Okay, crush the... Normally it's smash the patriarchy, but you want them crushed instead. Okay. Crush the patriarchy and then have dinner, a virtual dinner with them afterwards. Okay, final thought.
I was gonna faint.
You were going to faint? Oh, really?
Yes, everything. Wicked. Everything is wicked when I first came in.
Okay, so you really like it, alright? Okay. Whoops. Okay.
It was wicked.
Okay.
Having the thought of seeing the
Yeah.
Tupac
Yeah.
reminds me of when they got the Michael Jackson
Yeah.
lights and they pretended that Michael Jackson died when he did
Yeah.
the holographical version.
Yeah. Would you have dinner with Michael Jackson if you were in that as a hologram?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that the way we're going to go in the future? No, you don't think you will? No.
So, what's your name, man?
Museum.
Nazir. What? Oh, who's your favorite artist today? Like, you listen to which music? What's your genre? Like hip hop, right?
Okay, and a favourite artist? Who's the last person you were listening to? Quenface. Yeah.
Imagine Quenface, yeah, he's gonna come up, he's rapping for his people, his community and stuff like that. He's making it big money, and he makes it to the big numbers, where you're able to see your hero be there, not just there with the music, but be there in terms of close to his spirit, where you can actually see him but can't touch him. That those kind of experiences are what we're trying to capture with people, for the people that they want to be able to be immersed with, their presence. So would that be something to if Quenface was to die, God forbid, would you want to see Quenface really still out here with the music like they did with Michael Jackson? That would be something that would be nice.
Is that how music will live on generally when when musicians pass away, we'll still be with them in spirit, but also in digital spirit?
I just think that.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of have 50% that Tupac's still alive. I don't know why. I'm watching too much of that stupid YouTube stuff, but obviously he's somebody that I would really have loved to make music for, because I've actually got like a little collection of beats that sounds are for him, even though he's never ever going to spill on them, but I've just got my little folder that I've made, it's for him. But if I could ever get to connect with him in some way, that would be sick.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it'll be possible in the future. Yeah.
Because I work in the film and the moving picture, I have these roles and scripts. I was infatuated by Tupac in his movies that he was in, stuff like Juice, stuff like like Above the Rim, and those roles, that the character that he would play, he was such a muse, and how he was with such a raw, rich spirit. Like, I would find myself having roles that would fit Tupac so well, but since he's not here, it's one of them. But with this technology, it gives you the opportunity to at least have a taste of what it might just be like. And I think it's immersed into that kind of experience where you can just you have the ability to not just imagine, but bring your imagination to life. And that's what I like about the whole idea and stuff. But yeah.
I've got to go.
Okay, final thought, Jane?
Well, I mean, I want this table to take home.
Well, we do make them to order, but it's not normally for the domestic market. But having said that, we've got a gig next. Oh, I've run out of cards, but we've got a gig next Thursday. If we're finishing that, I've probably got a card in my bag. I'll just quickly. I'll give Tito another one. So thanks for that. Okay, final thoughts for this session.
I've got to go because we got far to
Okay, well thanks for popping in. Final thought on the Zoom?
It was great being able to, say what I feel about this place.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it's always nice having these kind of discussions when you're talking about this stuff and not what the industry can benefit out of it, but what people from different cultures and different backgrounds can really get out of it as well, being able to be conglomerate with the whole idea of what we can do with this new technology that we want to be really using. So it's nice.
Will it actually help to develop culture, I guess is the question, and will it actually allow people to express themselves but also be in touch with previous culture as well?
It almost gets that feeling that it's not just but it's that feeling of not just enhancing their technology but the cultures around them and how they can In a way, it's really bringing the cultures together. It's networking. In a way, and it's really nice.
It's like the hive minds that Jordan talks about. Come to our next gig next Thursday in Poplar with that address. Okay, nice one. Yeah. Okay, so it's a good moment to end it on. So we've got Sina, we've got Panis, and what's your name? And Roger. Roger, and I'm Mikey. We've just started, so really we can talk about absolutely anything. It's kind of up to you what you want to start with. It could be
Well, I've just come from the second floor.
Yeah.
Where the South Korean people call 13th floor there.
Yeah.
And they've got like CPR. They've got three things. They've got dementia.
Yeah.
VR for dementia.
Yeah.
Then they've got VR operation.
Yeah.
Live operation. Well, not live, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
And they've got.
Would you volunteer for that?
Oh yes, definitely.
Yeah.
And they've got a model there.
Yeah.
Where you can practice your
CPR.
Your CPR. And you can get that feedback.
Yeah.
Digital feedback, you know?
Okay.
So rather than trying out and breaking some child's ribs, you know? Rather than do that.
Yeah. Okay. So what do you think about this? What's your view on it?
I think it's the best thing here.
Okay.
I think it's the actual the best thing.
Why?
Because it's got a proper medical usage.
Okay.
And it could train anyone in this building how to do CPR properly. And it gives you scores.
Yeah.
So you can increase your score.
Okay.
And
so it's like a bit like this video game here, but it's actually got a proper use.
Yes.
Whereas I've got my own microphone. Yeah. In reality, you wouldn't necessarily have a problem with dealing with flying concrete blocks and a lightsaber. You might need to resuscitate somebody.
Yes.
So it's a better game to play in a way. Oh, we've just scared off this man here. He's going to be back in a second. So the best, we could use this technology for some real medical uses. That, according to Roger, is the best thing here. Have you got a view on that? Yeah. I didn't know either, I just
thought the second floor had a chill out room and that was it.
Yeah. Well, it's a chill out room with CPR.
It's next to it.
Yeah.
It's very close to the chill out room.
Yeah. Do you know how to do CPR?
No, I don't. I would like to know actually.
Yeah. So maybe go up there and check it out. Do you know how to do CPR?
No, I think I should learn.
I don't know either. I should learn as well. We all need to know these things. What's your name, by the way?
My name's Tito.
Tito, we've got Sina, we have got Panis, we've got Martin and Roger. I'm Mikey. Well, some of these people have been on already today, do you know what I mean? So, anyway, but I can't let on that. Everyone's got to be equal here on Talkaoke. That's the whole point. I guess we're talking about the medical uses of some of this digital technology. It's actually useful for things like, also there's this Alzheimer's thing. I'm not quite sure how that works, but I'm sure it's got a huge use, virtual technology for people with Alzheimer's disease. Do you know how to do CPR? No? Would you like to know? Well, that's not what we're doing here. This is not a CPR lesson. This is just a pop-up talk show. We don't know. None of us know. So we're all in the same boat. So please, if you've got a dodgy heart, go up to the second floor. You know that? Come and have a seat. Come and get involved in it. Come and have. So Roger here was saying that that's the best thing. That's the best thing. According to Roger, that's the best thing here because it's got a really useful. It's hugely useful. So we've got Roger, we've got Martin, we've got Panis, we've got Sina. This is Tito. What's your name?
Timur.
And Mike, and I'm Mikey. So is it the most useful thing here? Is it the best thing here? The CPR thing? Do you know how to do CPR?
I don't. I should know.
You should. That's what everybody says.
I know how to do CPR.
You do? Did you learn from a digital? I mean, we've not got an emergency or anything, so don't panic.
I'm going to be really honest with you. When I was 16, I used to go to a gym where they...
Come and sit down,
Okay, cool. They wanted me to be a lifeguard. So I was a lifeguard in a gym, or I trained to be one.
Yeah.
I did CPR for an adult, and I passed, and everything was cool. And then in the last bit of the exam, I had to do CPR for a baby,
Yeah.
which is a lot different, right? It's a small human being. I failed that, so I don't have my license.
Okay.
I'm not allowed to do CPR.
Right.
In terms of like professionally, but I know how to do CPR to a human being. That is an adult.
Okay. And are you, somebody here involved in this project? You're involved, right. Well done, first of all.
This wasn't me though, I just worked with the company, but to give you an idea of what was created, it's a VR scenario world that you're on a train, and it's scripted by the hospital to lead you through all the proper cues. So you have 12 levels you have to pass, basically interactive. You have a CPR mannequin that have sensors installed, embedded, so that basically it measures depth compression and breath intake. So if you press too hard, you don't pass. It tells you too hard. Too lightly, not enough. Basically, it guides your muscle memory for the correct amount of compressions. You have to complete 30 in order to pass the unit. Same with breath. You have a mannequin where you have to tilt the head back and open the airway. If you don't open it, it's incorrect, and it tells you. When you actually give enough breath, you pass, like a video game. But it's all real time and it's all interactive. So you have this scenario where you're in a 3D world and you feel like you're there on a train. You have voice commands where you have to order people to help you and do this. Wow. And basically you have a score of 100. So you can actually track, if you're, let's say you're a company and you want to track your employees' ability, you can actually go check online, see how they completed, if they passed, and you can get people to do it on a regular basis, upgrade. In response to the baby, we can also adjust it to a baby-sized mannequin with the right level. Most people in courses, that's a hard question, am I pushing hard enough? How do you know?
Okay. So in a way, Jen is good now, but Jen could have passed. And it's like a video game, I suppose. It reminds me of that film where there's a train and there's a bomb on the train. What film is that? Do you know what? Yeah, what's that one called? Anyway, come on. Okay, so that's what we're talking about now. So, should we be making these challenges, real life challenges, more like video games, and then people will want to pass them because they want to win the game, but also then suddenly they'll become really useful individually.
We get muscle memory, just like an athlete performs repetition over every shoot, you get muscle memory. So when it comes to setting a life, you can use this for children can use it to say to the parents. Most people don't want to know, but the fact that you're interactive, you have somebody telling you, this is good. You need that, right? An instructor. I've been in courses in CPR when I was younger. I've seen a woman, she was doing this basically, and it wasn't enough. She got a pass. Right. No one told her you should press a little bit harder. Right. When it comes to saving your life, you shouldn't guess. You should actually train people to know exactly what you're doing. So that's essentially what we try to do.
Okay. Can anyone see any other uses for this apart from CPR? Could this be stretched out to other kind of emergency situations, or? Yeah.
So it measures on the pressure, right? How you push. Is it just? I'm guessing my terminology here. But is it more push with the handle, or can it be any kinds of pressure? Like
it's a pressure sensor in the mannequin. So just like it's a real if you're taking the course, but inside. So basically. Step by step, it tells you exactly how you place your hands in a lock, where you should push, and then you get it correct if you put it the right way. There'll be a little area that shows you where you should press, how your arm should be, and then when you press, the sensor says like a little harder, a little faster. It's giving you the rhythm. Exactly where you're going to be.
Let me get a final thought from Panis. Give us a final thought.
Incredible use, yeah.
Are you inspired by this?
I am. I would really like to. It certainly makes it more fun.
Yeah, it makes it more fun to learn CPR because no one really wants to learn it because it's. Thank you. We're here all day, so do come back.
Yeah, I think what you've made is actually very, very useful. I think it's the most useful thing here because it can be implemented in schools and education. Very, like you said, very interactive for kids to be able to know what they're doing at the end of it, to know how much pressure to put in. And it's those little bits of knowledge that they need to attain from things that they might find more like CPR. So you're able to find a way to really have the kids be very intact with what's going on for that kind of situation. So that's
that excitement of I got a perfect score or something to shoot for, and how to do it, and then you also have the ability to adjust to a child, to an adult given situation, because some of the trainings on the adult side, which is general, you may crack some ribs and it'd be too difficult for a baby, but you get to engrave this in your brain and muscle memory kicks in every time it needs.
With the game that you're using, it's very good because what you're teaching the kids not only is that it's not good to just know CPR, but it's also good to save a life with it. So when they win, when I was younger, I was growing up with Call of Duty, Battlefield and stuff like that. I was loving it. My mum was telling me,
okay, so there's enough training about how to kill people, but what about how to actually save people? Roger.
That's a good point. I was wondering, what's the name of the system that you're using? What's it called? It's like this CPR mannequin. Is it?
Yeah, it's mannequin. CPR mannequin. So it's a CPR mannequin with sensors. We work with a company back in Korea that applies these sensors that give you real-time feedback. So they connect to the CPU wirelessly and get real-time feedback.
What's the name of the company?
13th floor.
13th floor, okay. So, I mean, where do we go from here? I mean, what do we want to talk about other uses you could potentially have for these kind of mannequins or computer games? Are they too much about killing people rather than saving people? Could you have a kind of Call of Duty for a paramedic? Could that be the next Call of Duty?
Blue helmet.
Blue helmet. Blue helmet.
So the UN, peacekeeping.
Okay. Could that be the next Call of Duty? And it would be, instead of Black Ops, it's Blue Helmet.
What about the recovery position? You have a mannequin that because when you put people in the recovery position, I'm never sure what that position is,
Okay, I mean it could be like a sort of,
there's other use.
You could kind of extend it so you don't really know, it could be like a car crash, and you don't really know what to do with the
Someone's
patient.
having a seizure, for example. You can actually recreate what you would do in the virtual environment, so you know how to treat people at different times and needs. That's another really good example,
The Heimlich maneuver.
Okay, so I mean all of these kind of emergency situations, do we know what to do? No, panic, call somebody. I mean, in a way, my thing would probably be to sort of like dig up a YouTube video, do you know what I mean? If there was something on YouTube which could tell you what to do, but then you don't necessarily have that time in an emergency situation. But that's generally how I like fix my bicycle, do timing, whatever. These days it's just from a YouTube video. However, you can't do that in a...
Because you need the right amount of patience.
Exactly.
So it's difficult to see it off YouTube.
Hang on, so let me just... I've got to be in the middle of this, otherwise I don't get any, I don't feel like there's any use for me to be doing this, do you know what I mean? What were you saying?
I was just asking him, what's the name of your company? 13th floor was actually trying to develop from there, because I actually really like your idea.
We're doing it. We have some interactive dementia care. So let's say your mom and dad develop dementia and it's too difficult to travel back and forth to the hospital. We have the standard issue exercise programs in interactive so they can work, so they can basically get your parents to try it or whoever has it, but also it schools you on how to do it so then you can work with them face to face.
So what does the technology actually do?
So basically, it's a scripted exercise from the hospital. It's a standard practice, what they use right now to, validated exercises. We've taken those and put them in interactive, where they read your arm movements, and essentially, again, it's a game where you get a pass if you're doing it correct, and it gives you the number. But more than anything, it's all about muscle memory. It's teaching you the muscle memory so that eventually you don't need a headset and you can work with the person you need for doing that.
What kind of things have you learned?
Well, this is an
physical exercises for people with dementia, essentially, right? What's the benefit of physical exercises for dementia?
It's basically the pattern. It activates and stimulates your brain in certain levels. So the exercises to keep your brain essentially. So you're moving in different directions, which have been proven to show results. So we're doing that and learning disabilities with children in VR. We also take in surgery for teaching nurses to be interactive with actual real surgery. We're doing a lot of development actually, focused on medical.
I guess
surgery game is a little bit more high level than just CPR. It's kind of like, you know, when it's kind of like the equivalent of like the very high level. I'm kind of, I don't know, for some reason, it's not really about me, and my job here is simply to get the conversation going, but I'm intrigued with this idea of like having instead of a computer game that kills people, that actually heals people, and you know, kind of, instead of the number of kills you get, it's the number of lives that you actually save. Gets you, you know, maybe you're running around like the blue helmet, running around trying to save people. Would people play a game like that, or do they prefer killing?
Maybe parents should have their kid get a perfect score in that game before they're not going to play a game that kills somebody. Initiatives like that in the household to promote health and wellness. Not a bad idea.
Like a one-off.
Killing as a reward, you mean?
Yeah. You save 5 lives, you get to kill 5 people. It could be like that. I mean,
it's like eating your vegetables before you eat your dessert.
So you don't want it, but
I mean, let's ask some of these people. Would you play a computer game, guys? Let's just get. Would you play a computer game where you had to save? Come on! You're so close. You're temptingly close. Come and join in this conversation. We've got Roger. We've got Martin. We've got Peter. We've got. Okay, what's the final thought?
Final thought.
I'm gonna think about it.
What's your name again?
Timur.
Timur. That's right. And Mike. And I'm Mikey. What's your name?
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth?
Yes.
What, would you play a computer game where you had to save people rather than kill people? You wouldn't play it either way?
I would prefer to save lives.
Your real lives?
I would prefer to save lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, a computer game that you save lives, you mean?
I don't know. I don't play.
Okay, final thought, Timur. Final thought. Sorry, this is one of the problems with talking. You go over here, you ignore these people.
You're doing a good job.
I think the reason a lot of people are here at this event today is to see technology put to good purposes, good reason, for therapy, for people coming together. I think everyone's intentions here are golden, and the technology speaks to that, the elements speak to that. So yeah.
So it's just going to happen. Thank you. So put the technology to good use. Are you off as well? What's the final thought before you go?
Again, elaborating what Timur said, I think a lot of people here to celebrate the benefits of technology. Generally, technology is used purely for entertainment, but there's a lot of other avenues that you can explore where you can combine entertainment and aspects that can help people, and everybody needs, I don't know, learn a little bit better.
Okay. So if you're going to entertain people, you might as well teach them something at the same time. And you might as well get them. Yeah, come and have a seat. Would you play a computer game where you save lives instead of kill people? It's like Call of Duty Blue Helmet. Would you play it? That's what we're talking about now. So we've got Roger, we've got Tito. What's your name?
Raymond. Simon.
Come and have a seat. My name's Mike here. We're talking about this. Would you play? Because we have Mike over. It's just gone now. But Mike's developed this computer game. It's based on CPR, and the better you do it, and it's actually based on a real mannequin that actually has got sensors in it that tells you how well you have done saving that life. But we're extending that now. What about a computer game where you actually had to kind of on the fly diagnose people and give them the right treatment as you went through a kind of landscape? Would that work as a concept rather than a computer game where you kill people? What do you think?
It really depends on how you try and execute this. There is one game where you try and take a peaceful route and then you can actually get a good ending. But if it's educational, I guess it will also work.
But that put people off though, too educational.
Maybe. I think it depends on like what people are interested in. Just like a mix, because obviously the demographic of video games is like mainly males, and they want like action stuff. So
but I mean, this is still action. It's just action saving life rather than taking life.
I think I kind of get where you're coming from. Most of the guys that are in the gaming community, they know what they want right now already at this point. With gaming already just shooting YouTube, developing, they want to keep doing what they've been doing to keep it safe. But with this kind of technology, we're trying to really say, hey, there's more grounds we can make maybe if we don't try it at least. But like what you were saying about how it would be kind of appealing to the demographic of the people, the general demographic of the gaming, is much more like, I feel like it would be a stepping stone in a not just another direction, but maybe the right direction. That if we don't take that risk, maybe like trying.
So we've got to give this a go.
Definitely.
Okay. Would you play a game like this? First person, Serene, try first person shooter?
I would, but the thing is, the whole, how well the game will do is depending on how fun it is going to be.
Right.
And the entertainment part is, like Sue said, first person shooters are really entertaining because we like going around corners, being all just kind of immersing yourself in that role. And being somewhat going around and saving people's lives. How fun would it be compared to when you could just go and play a first-person shooter?
Okay.
How would you make it more fun?
Okay, so it's not just got to be fun, it's got to be more fun to sort of win the Roger.
I mean, I see it more from a workplace situation, you know, so it's health and safety. So if you want to, you know, because everyone's got to take courses, so it's a CPR course. So if you've got a mannequin and you know how hard to push it, and how hard to press it, you know. I mean, we're here in Ravensbourne University in Greenwich, and it's really good because you know, I mean, everyone here is peaceful, and it's on a very kind of, you know, it's a very good tip, you know.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, it's a good thing, you know. Like a couple of years ago, they had a robotics thing in. I think it was Switzerland or something, you know. So all the countries in the world came there.
Yeah.
And they were showing off the stuff, you know. But America now and certain other companies, they just had war.
The war robots.
Yeah, just had war robots, you know. And certain countries, like Japan, refused to exhibit.
Yeah.
Because they said, because they realized that people around them just wanted to use their technology for, you know, to make guns, to kill people.
So in a way, it's what you use technology. Technology in itself is neutral, but it's how it gets to be used. Would you play a computer game where you save people's lives rather than kill people? Like Call of Duty, Blue Helmet, it's been... Come and have a seat, come and get involved in this. We got Roger, we got Raymond, Simon, and Tito and Mikey. That's what we're talking about at the moment. And would it have that action? Raymond's worried that it wouldn't necessarily have that sense of action that the Call of Duty maybe has got.
I think that it would have to be in environments like work environments first to be also tested out and how they would feel it would work out, and then that's when you can start playing with it and start to modify it. It's much more fun. I mean, I'm...
So it needs to kind of evolve in a way.
Exactly. So it's much more like getting the prototype up and running for what it can do in situations that it should do.
Okay.
And then really say, alright, cool, let's do it for the people now. Let's really let them have fun with it. So I think the way how they're using it for CPR and stuff like that is a great step in the right direction for how to start off. But when they shoot off with it, it's very
so it's kind of spin off a little bit.
So it's good what they're doing with this kind of information that they've gathered to make these kind of tools. But it's also how knowing how to really use them for the right kind of way.
Okay, so we're here now. I mean, what kind of things would give it that sense of action, that real kind of compellingness that would make it like an addictive game, like Fortnite or something like that?
I think like introducing new technologies like augmented reality or virtual reality might actually have an appeal to people. But I think there's already an audience out there for people who might like playing the support role in video games, because there'll always take support roles in video games.
What do you mean a support role?
Support role would be like, I assume like in Call of Duty games there are roles where you go around saving people and reviving people.
So you can already do this in Call of Duty?
More team-based games, so stuff like Fortnite. You can go around and save people if you choose to. It depends on the situation.
Right. In Fortnite.
So, but like with those kind of games, you just have to press square and X, isn't it? Just hold it down and then boom, there's save.
But it needs to be more sophisticated, where you actually diagnose what's wrong with the person Are they having a seizure? Are they having a heart attack?
And that's actually kind of interesting, because with a very fast-paced game like Fortnite or Call of Duty or Battlefield, it's hard to implement something so precise like a game of CPR in the game like that. You'll get killed out nowhere. So I think we have to take it back now, because we're using different dimensions of how to use it, and really look back at the foundation of how to really make a game fun. I think maybe get some game developers to really change the foundation of the kind of.
I mean, I think this is the thing, it's got to be fun, hasn't it? Otherwise, no one's going to be bothered to actually learn it. Yeah.
That's why I think that you should really implement VR into this. Not only does it take away the element of just pressing buttons to try and save people, but it also allows people to learn physically and through an immersive experience to try and learn through this like education, like to source.
Okay, so the augmented reality is definitely way ahead. But I mean, in that case, are you just going to be running around the streets saving real lives through augmented reality? In which case, are there going to be enough patients out there to do this? Because most of the time everyone's kind of okay. It doesn't happen very often. In fact, I don't think I've ever been around in a situation where I've needed to use first aid yet. So it happens very, very rarely. So,
I mean, with that kind of information, with that kind of knowledge, it's not really needed on a daily basis, but when it's needed, it's really needed. So with that knowledge, it's not how strong, not how well you know the game, but how far out the game will reach people. Because it may not be happening to you, but somewhere, probably even down the road, someone's having a heart attack or something. It does happen.
I mean, it'd be good if those people, whoever is there when someone's having a heart attack, could sort of log in to the game, so that they could actually get some real world advice, like live.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're taking this man away. Okay.
I'm on the mic now.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. So you've sent him away because you want to get involved in this conversation. Is that what's going on?
It's the other way around, but.
Okay. Well, we'll imagine it this way. Yeah. So I mean, we're talking about this idea, like we've got these people that are not on the 13th floor, but they're called 13th floor, and they've got these kind of medical intervention video games, like doing CPR, and we're just kind of running with that. What about if you had like a more mainstream game that actually was about saving lives rather than...
What about, maybe not saving lives, but what about life skills? What about dealing with money? What about, for young people, I think that's a really big thing. What about for managing finances to labour skills? If you know how to do construction or some basic labour skills, you can find a job anywhere all the time, 24/7. You learning that skill, just like CPR, quite a good skill to know, I think.
Doesn't that make it quite a boring game if you just...
No, because...
Because it's a bit like Minecraft, I suppose.
I actually want to talk about something, a bit sensitive, but not, hope you don't get shut down. So, on Netflix, you can find a video, I'll think of the name, it's a rapper called Killer Mike. He does like a series where they find an intuitive way to teach people life skills, because in the state that he lives in, there's a lot of unemployment among youths, and they don't know any sort of skills. So through pornography, they're teaching people construction skills and plumbing skills.
How do you teach someone?
I don't want to go too deep into it,
because we got
because last time we got shut down for talking about stuff like this. But he's used a medium, so pornography, that 99% of people watch, and through that, he's taught people life skills, and these people, they do exams. It's like a user case. They do exams before, after, and after this, they know a lot more, and they do well in school.
Using pornography as a teaching aid.
Exactly, but that can be done in games as well, similar to the 13th floor. Through a game that's entertaining and intuitive, you can make it educational, right?
Okay, so and you think this is a good approach?
Yeah, I think it's a good approach. But I think broadening it beyond sort of medical and making it more about the now sort of thing.
Okay, so most of the problems people have in life is not just about medicine, but just how to get along in life, actually. So we could expand this even not just about medical problems, but about life problems. Roger, you were going to jump in.
I mean, like retaining knowledge. That's what it's. I've seen the documentary, you know. And it's it's quite explicit. But it makes you retain the knowledge. You know.
I'm going to have to check this out. I've just unsubscribed from Netflix, so I might have to just reverse that.
No, it's yes, I see what you mean. Yeah, it's a very good documentary. It shows a lot of other stuff as well, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Do you know about this documentary, Raymond, Simon? You know, have you heard of it?
Yeah. So there's a big problem right now. Young kids, parents kind of use the easy way. They want the kids to shut up. They just give them their iPhones and iPads, and they go, "Yeah, watch this video, this content." And they're exposed to YouTube, which is a platform with every single type of content, good and bad. If we had games that would teach kids good skills from a young age, it could be very productive, I think. It could be, I think young kids, that market, I think, is probably the biggest.
So there's a huge educational market, not just teaching through pornography. That's just one tiny bit of what could be a larger, just a different approach to education. I mean, could it work at Ravensbourne? We're in an educational institution. Do we need to change the paradigm of how we learn?
Sorry, I got distracted.
Okay. Do we need to change the paradigm of how we learn? This is really what I'm talking about. Maybe some of these people, some of the standing audience could get involved in this as well. Do we need to change how we learn? Come and get involved. That's you. Yes, you. Yes. No need to look around. We have got Roger, we've got Raymond, we've got Simon, we have got, what's your name?
Jem.
Jem, and I'm Mikey. I know. You know, the reason why I do that is because then everyone's on the same level. But now that's been broken down. Anyway, come and get involved as well. Yeah, 2 minutes. We need your opinion. So, could we be changing the paradigm of learning? Would you learn better if you were taught through pornography? That's what Jem is suggesting. Are you at this art school? Yeah? Do they need to change the educational paradigm? That's what Jem is saying. He's saying you learn better if you learn through pornography or through video games.
Video games, yes, not porn.
You don't.
Video games, yes, porn.
No, porn. Why not?
Because it distorts your mindset.
Okay.
Basically.
So actually, you're learning in the wrong way. You're saying. Okay. We've got any face to say. What's your name?
Hanzo.
Hanzo. We've got Jem. We've got Simon. We've got Raymond. We've got Roger. And Carlos is in and out a little bit, but we can attempt him in. Do we need to change the paradigm of learning? Do we need to make it more fun, more compelling? Learning? You say yes.
I think so, yeah.
What about learning through pornography? Is that a legitimate way to learn?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? That's going too far.
Yeah. It's been done. So there's a thing on Netflix, a series by a rapper called Killer Mike, and essentially he does that exact thing. He teaches people that are not employed, that don't have basic skills in like construction, plumbing, electrician, that sort of stuff, and he teaches them through pornography.
But how do you teach someone how to lay bricks through porn?
Well, it's been done. Just go on Netflix and you'll see how they do it. But it's essentially there's no effort. You just sit and you watch a video, and you remember these things in the video because you want to watch the video. You know, like I'm ADD, and ADD people get distracted if they don't like things. If they don't, are passionate about it. A lot of people are passionate about porn.
What's that?
No, ADHD video games is a really good one because it literally focuses your mind, especially with mathematical equations, like VR kind of thing.
Okay, so it's actually, if you've got ADD, then it's actually ADHD, then it's good to actually learn in this different way where you want to watch it, you want to learn.
What would everyone think? What does everyone think could be a good way for them to learn? What are you passionate about? I'm really into filmmaking, so I think any sort of visual, if it's done well, would be I'm a visual learner.
It's interesting because I used to film talks, and when I'm filming the talk, I'm much more listening to what someone's saying than if I'm just sitting in the audience. So, does this change of perspective help us learn better? How can we learn better? Are you an educational institution? Are you learning in the right way?
I think it really depends on what type of person you are, because like for me, I might get slightly bored listening to lectures all the time, but I think I would learn the best when I'm doing some sort of active learning, when I'm just getting hands-on and doing the things I want to do. So for example, if it was to do with filmmaking, I would rather go like learn through making films than just sitting around and watching films and trying to learn how they do it.
Okay, so in a way, doing it is easier than just watching it.
I think it really depends on the type of person. Some people are more like interested in watching other people do it and like learning from them because they're more of a passive learner.
Okay, and then I just want to bring in other people on this. How do you learn? Do you think your learning can be improved? Different approaches?
Yeah, active learning is definitely the way to go at this point because a lot of people, you can just see something, and it will just stay in the back of your mind and you won't pay much notice to it, but if you do something with it, then you're learning more from it. It's proven that you learn a lot more. We're also talking about like, the CPR thing. And I want to talk about like the whole point of games and all these different mediums are about escapism. And well, a big part of it is escapism and taking your thoughts away from certain things that you don't want to think about. But then if you're bringing back education into it, isn't it kind of reversing the purpose of it?
Well, I mean, does it automatically make it less fun if it's educational?
Can do.
Come and have a seat on the table. We're talking about should we be changing the way we learn? Because and we've got stay in there because we need to have a handover. So we need to sort of explain. So we've got Simon, we've got Raymond, we've got Roger, and Mikey. What's your name? What's it? Vivi. So when we're sort of talking about this, we took all different ways. It all started off. There's a dummy on the second floor that teaches people how to do CPR. And it's like a, what's that? Yeah, that's right. And it's like a video game. So we're just really excited about this whole idea. Could you actually, change the paradigm of learning and make everything like a video game? Like what about if you had a video game that's like Call of Duty, except you get points for saving life rather than killing people? And then we talked about all different ways, like apparently there's a rapper in the US that teaches people through pornography how to lay bricks. We didn't find out exactly how, and I'm not sure if I want to. So construction skills.
There's plumbing and stuff, and other kind of home skills, right? But it's because of I think it's because that porn focuses the mind. Right? So when you're watching it, you're absorbing everything, and even though what they're doing, like they might be fixing, fixing a washer and a tap. Somehow, and makes it more compelling in a way. Somehow you remember.
But I mean, that's just one example of a few different examples of like how to actually change the paradigm of learning. And these guys are. Raymond and Simon both said if you're active, if you're actually doing something, you're learning more than if you're just sitting back listening to somebody talking. So, we're in an educational establishment here, should we actually be changing the paradigm of learning? Not necessarily through the porn thing, some people found that distasteful, but, should we actually be learning in a different way? That's where we are right now with the conversation.
The best way to learn is to teach.
Teach somebody else.
You need to embody the information and then teach. So being hands-on, you have so many senses to learn.
Right.
For example, I make music, so I can read the Logic's manual.
What's Logic's?
Logic is a music program.
Music program. Okay.
So, or I can go to YouTube to see how people do it. I always go to YouTube because I can see how people do it. Imagine if it's interactive, I will see someone like will be hands-on. When I do it once, I don't need a book anymore. I can just, just do it again and again.
Okay, so if you've got kind of people there, if you've got a real life human being, it's much easier to absorb this information. Who looks at instruction manuals these days anyway? Does anybody? You do, yeah? Come closer.
You've got to know how things work, surely. Do you know what I mean? They just go in and turn something
but
on.
These days people are more likely to use YouTube than the instruction manual.
There's a way, you get a manual, there's a way it shows you how to work. from start to finish.
Yeah.
You use the internet when you need key, you've progressed.
Yeah.
You need to go beyond what the manual might be able to tell you. So you might have a specific question. Like, I wouldn't do a course on to learn a bit of machinery. I would use the manual, go through step 1, select this thing, step 2.
Let me get a final thought from these guys. Sorry. Final thought. Sit down and give us a final thought.
I think video games is probably like the best way to get interactive with learning. So maybe like getting video games into a normal education course might be a really good way of getting to learn this.
So video games can become a mainstream method of education. Okay, final thought.
Just interactive media in general is going to be the new way going forward. But still, traditional ways can be integrated into it, and the mix of it may be useful. Just so they always get a variety of learning, and depending on the person, can help everyone in the classroom.
So it's not just, it's a variety, it's not just one type actually, this variety, keeping things fresh is actually really important as well. Thanks guys. Were you going to say something there, Vivi?
I was going to say, I agree, but people on YouTube are the people who are like yourself, who absorb from the menu, and then to say it in an easier way for people like me to learn.
Okay, so there's a kind of translation going on. The manual's written in a very dull way, and we need
someone to show you something, just show you it, not explain it through words. So to pick up a cup, if I was to write it down, it would take longer than me just pick it up and put it down, So when you see people actually go into a place on something and so on, so it's easier to follow it rather than you've got to look at a book and it tells you this word and that word and you can't remember what it means or whatever. So I've learned loads of stuff on it, loads of stuff. Things that you would, I know, anything you think about doing, in the past you have to go to a course, sign up for something and, leather make it, you make a belt, you have to go to a place where they got this and they got that. You go on the internet and you find someone who's passionate about it and can tell you the easiest things without the experience. Don't do this, don't do that. Reason being, boom, 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 boom. You don't have to learn the errors, you can just go straight to good ways of doing things. And
isn't it when you make the mistakes though that actually you learn a bit better when you actually make these mistakes?
I've heard that, but I don't necessarily always agree with it. Just if you're intelligent enough to know what's right and wrong, you don't need to do it wrong to know it's wrong.
Okay.
You know that if I told you, if you walk out in front of a car, you may get hit. You don't have to do it to find out that I was right or wrong. You can just obviously look at it and say, the dude's talking sense. So no. I can absorb the right information all the time. You don't have to have the bad information.
Okay, we're talking about changing the paradigm of learning. So we've come with a few different things. It's about being more active, more interactive, more variety. One of the things I guess we've even seen around this table is different people learn in different ways as well.
Because some people remembers better by listening. Some people, they have to see it. Like personally, I'm an audible person, so I can just download a book and it just imprinted tattooed in my brain. Whereas if I recommend that book to my friends, they say, I have to order the book, they have to see the words to remember. People are different.
Okay, so audio books versus written books. What do you think about this, Tito? We're talking about changing the paradigm of learning. Should we be learning in a different way? Are we kind of missing out in a way? Or is it just changing anyway? It's changing naturally. We're just looking up YouTube and it's just going to happen. Eventually schools will just be full of YouTube videos.
I mean, it would be a nice way of learning. One thing you discovered is that there's many ways of learning things. You can actually just listen to and try and make sense of what people want to do and stuff. Verbal learning, and then there's reading and stuff like that, and books and stuff. Gathering these types of information in different ways, entertaining them in ways to learn, and trying to implement that into educating the rest, I think is very interesting. I feel like with the virtual reality kind of way of teaching people like the CPR, I think it's much more, it's a nice game, it's a nice way to really get them concentrating and focusing on the important things to learn. But not everything's a game. So you see where I'm coming from? It's a nice futuristic way of doing things. But let's try and, in my opinion, tradition always believes in traditional ways of doing things. Like that's the way.
Yeah.
Because then you go back to how your nature of learning, and then you can implement that again into something you want.
So you think you've got to, these things always add on to the traditional ways?
Just add it to the list.
But
don't make it the only way. So,
Learning is like it's just like different things we've learned over time. And I get what you're saying about like language. Reading language and speaking language is completely different things. Yeah. So you need someone to tell you how to say a word in another language. Yeah. You can read it and you can put the eyes there, maybe it sounds like this.
Yeah.
Or you go speak to someone from that place. Yeah. You know what we're talking about. If someone tells you how it's said, when you say it, sort of thing, you just learn and you just that's how we learn. What was that?
Okay, so you have to use the knowledge to actually absorb it, to actually make sense of it, otherwise it's just facts sitting in your brain somewhere.
That just goes in one eye, goes in and out, and if you're using it,
then
you'll say you lose it. Because if I can read something and have to do something, but I actually try and do it, it's just words in it. It's like anyone can just tell you how to. I can say to climb a building, it doesn't tell you how to where you put your hands and stuff. I can say you need to put your hands up there and climb a building.
Yeah.
It's not quite the same when you say it like that.
You've actually got to embody
that skill. Try it and you realise that, you know what, it's not quite like that.
And also, are we talking about what sort of education? For younger children or for adults?
Well, this is it's kind of up to you really. This is still you can go in any direction.
It's very different because in our early years, the way we learn is to learn the basic information, basic knowledge. But later on, I think university and masters and all that is to learn how to learn more.
Right.
Yeah, because it's not about.
Shouldn't you already know how to learn by the time you get to university?
Not necessarily. Project management is the most important thing for, say, PhD, because you have to write 100,000 words or something, and then you need to dedicate your time. You have to organize yourself to say, okay, from this time to this time, I'm going to research on. So basically, you train yourself to be able to research.
Right. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, but when you are younger, before a certain age, you are taught you have to be here at what time, and you're kind of forced to learn, and then being disciplined by the school's, time structure. You have to learn it in that way, rather than you find your own way to learn.
Okay.
Because a lot of times people go to university, they don't use the knowledge that they learn as their job, but then by using that 3 years or 4 years is to learn, how it works for you.
But you don't think younger kids could learn these kind of research skills, this project management?
But they are not like a current school structure. It's not made like that. I think they should turn it around. They should when the kids, they need to find out in their kindergarten, does this kid learn better by reading, by listening, or by practice? That's 3 different kind of learning. So the whole system needs to change in a way.
I mean, should we be starting off teaching the kids how to learn? Should they be learning project management in kindergarten? How to schedule, how to organise their entire educational career at the beginning of their educational career rather than at the end?
I think with that, with that kind of way of trying to suss out how the young child is capable of learning with those three things, is very important actually, because in school, many kids they feel like they're slower than the rest and this and that, and they don't get a chance to attain the kind of knowledge on how to use the tools that they get, and they don't know how to function with it, and people are different.
A lot of times they're not excited. Yeah, because you have to be passionate and then evoke your interest to be really focused on something. When I was younger, because I was the view that the teachers were interested in me, so she's good. That was the encouragement. But the rest of the kids, they were just I'm just in the middle. Who cares? Nobody cares about me. But most successful people later on in life are the people who were not doing so well in school because their mind is somewhere else. But I think these days children are starting to from a very young age, just to say what are they interested in.
Yeah, and do it from that. Yeah.
And the parents are very into.
This is Talkaoke. Come and have a seat. We've got Vivi, we've got Martin, we've got Roger, we've got Tito and Mikey. It's part of it, but no, it's not. I don't know. And we're not programmed people here. This is Talkaoke. It's a pop-up talk show, and at the moment we're talking about. It's all started off with the CPR dummy upstairs as a kind of video game to teach people how to save lives. But now we're talking about changing the way people learn completely. Should we, like Vivi, have you done a PhD? What was it? Fifi. I'm sorry. Fifi is, sorry. Should I tell?
It was my pronunciation.
Oh, no. Anyway, so what's your name? Maria, we've got Tito, we've got Roger, we've got Martin and Mikey, Fifi. Yeah. I'm familiar because I've been sitting at this table for a good 22 years, learning in my way, all around the place. But anyway, what we're talking about now is this, should we be changing the paradigm of learning? Like when you do a PhD, you learn how to learn, you learn how to structure your whole educational program yourself. Should the kindergarten kids be learning how to learn and learning how to structure their education before they've learned anything else? Should they be designing their own learning program rather than only doing it at the end by the time they've gone to their PhD? This is what we're talking about at the moment.
Yeah, like with the kids trying to attain that kind of knowledge at a young age, I think that's when we implement the technology that we need to modify how these kids can learn. Like we said, they have their way of learning they don't even know. So it's using those little games in situations where it's not really, they don't feel like they're being watched. Say it's playtime or whatever, and that's when you can implement the games in which they like most, which is like high scores or something like that. That can be really, that's information and data for people to really take back and think, okay, this kid is really like a surgery game, this one's like a fireman game, and stuff like that. With that's already information you can gather up for yourself on how you can really
okay, so in a way you can kind of learn where your future career might lay through gaming as young children. What do you think about this, Maria? Any thoughts at this point, or is it too early?
No. My issue is just I always played with school and the way it was and all the classes. So I know that sounds really square, but that's just the reality of it. My issue was going from GCSE to A-level plus 2 subjects. I was like, how am I going to start to 4? I want to do like 6. They're all interesting. And then again with uni, I was like, I like all 4 A-levels. Don't want to do uni. I want to do them all. So I feel like I already had too much choice, but I appreciate everyone else's need to explore in different ways, and that's super fine, but I just found the system worked really, really well for me.
Yeah.
So that's not really helpful to this discussion. I'm
No,
sorry.
I mean actually, it was said, I think it was one of you said that, it was you actually, wasn't it? Tito, you were saying that it's all of these ideas are not about replacing what's there already, but augmenting what's there already, because, don't fix what already works.
With the way you were brought into the education system, I think it fit perfectly well for you, and there's no problem with that. But now in the time that everything's developed, everything's changing for the better, and it's very much how can we keep everything up with the times of now. A lot of kids are using devices and stuff like that. I don't know if people are using this telephones at the age of like 10. It's one of them ones, yeah. And these kids already have access to a lot of tools where they're exposed to so much stuff and kind of programs where they don't even know what they're learning. They're just learning something. And that kind of information could be used for something else for a much more better reason. It's more tweaking what these kids will learn to be exposed to the new environment that they're in. So it's stuff like with their new telephones. If they were trying to do the CPR game, try and do it on an app or something like that. It's these kind of moves and ideas that we're trying to implement in this day and time for technology that we've got to this day. So,
I think it's fair to say that, that's great. You enjoyed school, and I don't think it makes you a square person. But I think it's been said around the table, not everybody enjoys school. So that's a bit of a shame, really.
It's such a waste of time for me. Because I wasted all this money, right? And I ended up making music, and I didn't learn anything to do with making music.
Yeah.
So we're talking about like 15 years of education didn't amount to what I did. And I told myself making music later on after I graduated.
Okay, so you learn lots of different things, but then you actually end up making music. You come close to
because I wasn't interested in
Yeah,
what I
because
learned.
music for me never been about a class or anything, so I started doing it after I left
You're also a
university.
musician,
Yeah, because you realise that you only got one life to live. It's a business, there's a business in everything, so you kind of see that as a business if you can make it work. But again, I didn't go to college, it was what you've learned and people telling you and showing you and stuff like that, and obviously a passion as well for what you want to do. So X amount of years later, I'm still learning stuff, still looking at new stuff and hearing stuff. But again, I wouldn't want to have gone to a college to have learned it. You know, it's taken maybe twice as long to have learned it or whatever. But it's lessons for me, and not about studying music per se or this type of thing or that type of thing. You know, so you got an eye for most of it, but then they might put on more value on classical music and metronomes, and I'm not really that kind of person. I'm all a bit live and stuff like that, so that would never have helped me. I've met people who have learned through schools and colleges, and it's just graphs and it's just on, you know, it's not really music, it's like reciting notes in time rather than being
I mean, I would rather learn from YouTube than learn from a teacher, because...
Give me a final thought, Maria, before you go. Sorry.
Yeah, I would rather learn from YouTube than from any teacher, because I can learn at my own speed, and teachers, I didn't have many good teachers, so I'd like to find the best teachers in the world, and then go to YouTube and learn from them.
I mean, you think that's going to be like that in the future? That the best teacher will have like 1 million students and nobody else.
Yes, because we'll be looking at saying, all right, I'm gonna do music technology. I'm gonna go for the one with 5 stars, with the most ratings. And that's the way I do it. I want the best teacher. You know, I had terrible teachers when I was at school. You know?
Why were they so bad?
Because they weren't. All right. I'll show you an example of a good teacher. I had a maths teacher.
Okay. Give us a final thought before you go.
We had a maths teacher, and so a maths teacher, one maths teacher, he put a problem on the thing, and he teach you one way of learning it, just one way. Now, that was a bad teacher. Now we had another teacher. So he went, he gave us the same, same kind of problems. And he said, do you understand? And most of the class said, no, we don't. He said, all right, here's another way. And did it another way. So another 6 people in the class understood. He said, do you understand? Some people said, no. He said, he did it another way. The man did it he did it 6 ways. Every single person in the class understood. I never had a teacher like that, ever again, or since.
With teachers like that, they're showing you multiple ways on just one thing to learn, and that's another thing that not many human teachers can do. So this kind of technology can be really helpful when say you're trying to teach some people they want to know a way of how to tune a guitar or do a chord. Some people might want to do it one way, and then they will be able to teach you how to do it another way. So these things of attaining that kind of knowledge is very useful when we're using this kind of technology, especially if it's immersive. With music, I'll leave it.
Okay, well, we've got Roger, we've got Tito, Mike.
My name is George. What are you on about?
Right now we're talking about the future of education. Roger suggested that actually in the future, instead of there being loads of teachers, you'll just get the best teachers in the world and they'll be like superstars, with like 5 million students, all on YouTube or whatever, some kind of immersive channel. And that's a better way actually to learn, because it's only the super talented teachers that get through. That's what we're talking about. How do you see the future of education?
Twice.
Well, I mean, first of all, I don't know whether it's talented, but they definitely have to be charismatic.
Yeah.
Okay? So, they should just follow the students really, not the other way around.
Yeah.
You know?
So it's like the teachers should follow the students.
Rather than the students following the teachers. To put it in perspective, okay, let's take the Montessori. Hang on a second, because we've got a new face to the table. We've got Roger and George. Yeah. Mikey, what's your name? Elsa. We're just talking about the future of education, and I feel like George is about to go into a little bit of what we would call a spiel about this, but tell us what you were going to say about spiel. It's like actually it's Yiddish for play, a bit of a play. But go tell us about this. Your view of it, because I think Roger was saying in the future, just to fill you in, you'll have one teacher and have 5 million students following them on YouTube or whatever. But then George was saying maybe it should be the other way around, with the teachers following the students. And then you were just... I believe in small groups. Yeah. Small groups, one charismatic teacher, or as many teachers actually as the students. Right. My 3 years old goes to Montessori nursery. Yeah. And there are 10 kids, and they have 6 teachers around them. Yeah. So what they do is they follow the kids, and they actually see and examine what they're interested in. Right. And they try to provide each kid with the means to develop its skills and talents. Okay. Instead of not getting into a position here about one teacher, 1.5 million students. Well, it is another approach. Okay. All right. So I guess we're talking about the future of education. What's it going to look like? That strikes me as a little bit labour-intensive, though. If you've got 6 teachers for every 10 kindergarten kids.
So I kind of agree that it's not going to be like 5 million people following one teacher, because if you look at MOOC, they were supposed to revolutionize teaching by people being able to access from anywhere in the world, and finally it didn't work out so well, because learning is hard and you need to have someone accompanying you, and sometimes just being in the room, your room is not enough. So maybe it's not going to be the teacher following the students, but maybe it can be community teaching to each other.
Right, so it's more of a kind of cross-teaching. Yeah. Okay, so what's the future of education going to look like? Is it going to be all of these things? And what about this question about this immersiveness, as we are in Immersed? Well, there's probably... everything's immersive. Yeah. The moment you take the VR headsets, you're immersed. Yeah. But are you immersed before you put the VR headset on? That's what I'm saying. The moment you take them off, then you're really immersed. Okay, so the VR is the non-immersed bit. It's less immersive than the real world. Okay.
Maybe VR immersive world can be a solution to MOOC failing. So maybe MOOC being failing because it didn't feel real.
Well, can you say a bit more about MOOC?
Well, so basically it's a lot of big university, Grand University or just online university put their teaching online, so you can join whatever courses you want to learn, and you can follow like classes in Stanford or Harvard for free, or you can go to special and most of the time it's free, and you can have a diploma at the end, but it didn't kind of revolutionize. And like employers like it as well to see your diploma and your CV, so it's recognized by professionals in a way. But it didn't have the revolutionary impact, because I don't think the success was quite there in the public, and it was very good for like country, like there were a lot of Indian students, and so it was for really everywhere, you know. So as long as you've got a connection, it doesn't matter, and they're willing to learn.
But it sounds very successful. What didn't work about it?
I think I'm not too sure. I will need to be more looked into it, but I think because people, it's hard to follow. It's hard to learn yourself. It's like a long distance. Learning has always been hard.
There wasn't enough interaction in a way.
Maybe they did try to, like the teacher were present and was answering in a chat room to students, so they did try to do this interactivity. But maybe students didn't have enough incentive to come to the classes. or I'm not too sure, but it just didn't work as much as it should have.
So it's kind of semi-successful.
Semi-successful, but the idea is here, and I think it's a very interesting idea to be able to learn from anywhere in the world for free.
Yeah.
So maybe a virtual world can be the way to make it more incentive to come to a classroom, and you can actually meet your co-student in real, and
would it be more compelling to do it that way in the virtual world, with being in a virtual classroom with some of the best lecturers in the world? Would it make a difference? Would that make MOOC more successful? What is it, MUK?
MOOC.
MOOC. Okay. Would it make more sense? Have you heard of this, George? Have you heard of this? Yeah. I mean, do you think that the virtual reality here could work? Would make it more compelling? Would it help people to learn if they're not maybe present in the same? Is that better in a way than just having this very human face-to-face, class?
How can you know to get there? I mean, before Facebook, what were we doing before that? Do you remember?
What were you doing?
Talking to people, as I do now. Talking to the same friends that I've got now, and seeing them and not worrying about what isn't or isn't real, or who's doing what, or who likes this. I don't want to like your foods or what you've taken today or whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's what we did, and it's just like technology seems to take us away from a lot of things. Don't get me wrong.
I'm not. I'm completely agree with you.
And when you ask a question about some of these things, they're not saying obviously you've got to ask a question.
Yeah.
And they're a hard question because it's like with most things, it's like a knife. It's only good for certain things.
Yeah.
Like everything is only certain. It's got a certain kind of use to it, and you can't use one thing for everything.
Yeah.
So the answer is whether it took off or didn't take off or what the reasons was. There's many reasons why it didn't do it.
Yeah.
And but a lot of it can be, like I've said before, is that sometimes the implication of the implementation of the technology for the time just isn't right.
Yeah.
So it's like, I always think it's like when someone says, it's like inventing something.
Yeah.
The person who probably invented it wasn't the first person who thought of it.
Yeah.
The first person who thought of it, everyone laughed at them.
Yeah.
About 10 years before that.
Yeah.
Then we get into things, and then we can see how things work.
Okay, so sometimes inventions come at the wrong moment, they come too soon.
Yeah, or there's put in the wrong thing, or there's pressure put on them
Yeah.
to perform in a way they're not really designed to perform in that
Okay,
way.
so when a new tool comes in, we get so excited about it that we actually use it for all the wrong things.
For many things, and suddenly maybe it will find its place.
Yeah.
But it could be like in the engineering department, which no one ever uses. But for those in the engineering department, it will be revolutionary. It will have many steps in it.
Yeah.
But
so it's about actually the right tool in the right place, as far as you're
times are changing.
Yeah.
You have to evolve with something. You can't just stay in the past.
Yeah.
You can't just live in the past.
Well, that's true. I mean, what I do is like, you're going to make the best of it.
And learn to adapt, because otherwise you're left behind, and then you're in trouble.
Okay, I mean, well, yeah.
Yeah, that's very important for people to actually, even if it's not the right use straight to do, it's important to take this technology and experiment with them and develop usage that are not the same that the big corporate commercial firm are going to develop. So it's important to have like a citizen thing or more collective.
In a way, the corporations are never going to be imaginative about how to use these new tools, and it's down to individuals to be a bit more lateral about it. We've got a new face at the table. We've got Martin, we've got Roger, we've got Elsa, we've got Tito and Georges. Mikey, what's your name?
My name's Charlie.
Charlie. At the moment, we're sort of talking about education, but in a way, we're talking about new technology now, and when we come across a new technology, do we just want to use it for everything? Virtual reality, augmented reality, for example, we're talking about using it for education, using it for this and that, fixing things. Are we just overexcited about the tool and actually we haven't found the proper use for it yet? Or, when it comes to education, we feel like there should be a revolution in education, but we're not quite sure how it's going to happen. So, that's what we're talking about right now. It's a bit of a vague conversation, but that's Talkaoke. Welcome. What's your name again, sorry?
Charlie.
Charlie, that's right, yeah. So, so that's where we are already with the conversation. Where do we want to take it? If I summed it up nicely, I suppose I did that. Well, yeah.
I think from what you're saying just now, I think it literally just comes down to like, when technology is new, people don't really know what to do with it yet. Like sometimes it takes like a while, couple of years maybe for people. 50. Fair enough. 50. But it takes time for people to like get a hand of it and grasp of it and sort of push the boundaries of what can be done with it. I know it's kind of vague, but it is quite a vague conversation.
Well, I mean that's the thing. I think that's the feeling people have got is how do you actually use this technology in the most effective way? You got a point, George? Not really. No.
Well, it depends what kind of technology. You need to know what you want to do with it, right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, let's take the internet and Facebook, for example. Facebook only came along 20 years after the internet was around and popularized. That someone thought, oh, we need to use this to make people feel insecure about their social networks. It took a lot of time for people to discover that. But now, look, it's great. What are you going to say something?
I mean, with the tools that we find ourselves with, I like to take it back to fire. That was the first tool we discovered and acknowledged. It was at its rawest form. It just came to us out of nowhere. And it wasn't glossed up. It wasn't sharpened. It wasn't modified. It was seen how it was, used, and then developed from it. So it's one of these things where it may take a while to reach where we're imagining ourselves to be. But it starts with the prototype kind of tools that shift the direction of immersive technology in the right direction. Small steps, these baby steps for technology is what I think is very important.
Okay, but is it a baby step or is it somebody finding having this vision of the right kind of use for the technology? We've got a new face at the table. What's your name?
Hey, I'm Mara.
Mara. So right now we're sort of talking about, I guess, technology. We're talking about technology and education. Is it just a question of someone imagining the right use? So, Charlie, I'll come to you, Elsa.
So I was just gonna say that it's not just the use we invented, because we talk about VR, for example. At the same time that we are inventing the new usage, we are inventing the technology. So the technology is not done yet, and we're still developing it. So it's kind of interesting that these two things are going on at the same time.
Okay, so the technology is not quite there yet, and the ideas for the use are not there either, Charlie.
I think you could take a lot of inspiration from go back to the mid-80s sort of. When electronic music and sort of hip hop started this is just one example, one way of looking at things. You had like Akai MPCs and samplers and things like that started coming about, and drum machines originally they were intended to be basically toys or just something just for fun really, and then you had the whole house and techno scene, they sort of use that, and then that's just those kind of sounds like standard music today, and people use drum machines all the time. And then you had samplers of hip hop, they sampled a lot of soul and funk, and at the time those samplers are really they're really intended for sound films, taking sound effects or speech and stuff and putting it together, but people used it against what its original purpose was. So sometimes it's a case of being
hacking it.
Yeah, being a bit rebellious with it and then just finding a new purpose like that.
Okay, that's a very interesting,
I mean, could you argue that that's why we should take baby steps with it? Really observing what we're playing with here, really knowing the anatomy of whatever device we're using, and knowing the function and the nature of what devices we're using down to the string.
Saying, Charlie, come and get involved with this. We're talking about hacking technology. How to, the birth of electronic music, sampling, all of these things kind of came out. The technology was intended for something else. So, is that about as Tito says, taking baby steps? Is it about kind of going against the intention? Does technology even have an intention, or is it just there?
Learning by doing. So you learn, you fail, you try something else, you fail again, and then little by little. I don't know if it's baby step, it's kind of dancing, then you find your way back on your feet.
Instead of a baby step, it's more of a dance. You dance your way to success by just trying things, I suppose, and just experimenting in a playful way. And maybe that's what we need to do with this virtual technology as well, is kind of be playful with it.
A lot of people, they just want things to do what they say they do.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't want to get into things. People don't program anything.
Yeah.
It just does it, and that makes it easier than it was before.
Right.
So a lot of things we might have spent a lifetime to learn, so it makes it that much, anyone can do it now.
Yeah.
So,
isn't that a good thing, though? It's accelerated, so you can...
Yeah, but sometimes you can miss. You can, if someone's, it's like moving into a house and no one shows you where the fuse box is, or where the stopcock is.
Yeah.
You just walk in there and it's a house.
Yeah.
When something goes wrong,
then
you don't know how, because you didn't go through a certain way of understanding how something works.
Yeah.
You just took it as just what it, you know what I mean? So when it goes wrong, sometimes these things that do all the things,
they're just
and
a
you
bit
haven't got to
too...
learn anything to do with
They're
it.
a bit too user-friendly in a way.
Could be. I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
Consumer-oriented.
Yeah, but it also starts with creativity.
Yeah.
Because it just means that if it says it's got 3 buttons on it and it does 3 things, then you don't look for a 4th one. And then suddenly everything's just 3 buttons. And there's actually 10 of them before.
Okay. I mean, science fiction writers, they write the future, right? So 40 years ago, we had VR, but it was with cathode ray screens. So it's like those big back televisions, you know? So you had this thing on and it was like out there. You know what I mean? Right? And it was VR, right? But the technology wasn't there, right? Because but the idea was there before the technology. Right? And now the technology is here. Right? So they have a thing called what's it called? Steam engine thinking. Right? So what that is, it's like at one stage that everything was there to make the steam engine. Everything was there. All the technology was there, but no one had it. No one had the idea. But as soon as someone had the idea, everyone had the idea. 10 different parts of the world, because the technology was there already. You know? And so it was a race to make it. That's the thing, you know? And I don't know what we're racing towards right now, but we must be racing towards something. There must be something out there. Yeah, there's got to be things out there that we look at as trivial things. That's going to be tomorrow's technology and the biggest thing tomorrow.
Okay.
That's, you know.
Okay, so taking the example of the steam engine, all the technology was there, but no one really thought about using it in this way.
And if you look at VR, it came back big time when Oculus Rift went on Kickstarter. So it was there, everything, and then this guy put the VR on Kickstarter, and that was it, and that was coming back, and the wave came back, and it didn't live since.
So it's about somehow the waves and the movements. It's not just about technology, but how those technologies coalesce, the ideas, the thinking. Come and get involved. We have got Martin, we've got Roger, we've got Charlie, we've got Elsa, Tito, and George. I'm Mikey. Well, everyone's an observer here. I'm talking. What's your name? Helen. So at the moment we started talking about education and learning, but now we're sort of talking about technology and how technology develops. And Charlie came up with a very good example of the drum machine and the sampler and all these things, which are now like the mainstay of electronic music, but initially they were just kind of invented as toys or for something else. And it's just about how technology doesn't progress in a straightforward way. It's about people hacking it and using it for different stuff. So we're kind of, I guess we're in this world of virtual reality, and it kind of feels like we haven't quite got to that point where it explodes because we don't really know what to do with it yet. And that's where we are with this conversation right now.
Well, I think this table is really good, and we should have more conversation like that because it works well.
Okay, well, I mean, once again, this is like this technology got invented 22 years ago, as I mentioned before, but it's, it took the world a few years to catch up. To get in, this is Talkaoke, to get into Talkaoke.
Sorry, I've just sort of sank in what you were saying earlier about you was talking about how things could be too intuitive. So, well, not too intuitive, but it's like it's too simplified. Is that what you were saying? So you could, when it's simplified to a certain level, when so much is automated for you, you can't really see behind of what it's actually doing. I know it's really vague. I'm not sure if I'm making sense. But it's like it's harder to be creative with it because there's less you can do with it. Is that what you're saying?
You sort of need to understand the workings, how it actually works.
Yeah, it's not the less of it, it's just the understanding of it. And then so when someone says to you like, so you said about hip hop, so you might say, you might take years to find what a fat drum is. And someone gives you a thing with the fat drums in it. And everyone stops looking for fat drums.
What is a fat drum?
Just a big sounding drum. And then, but then everyone's used to, so if I gave you 10 drums, and everyone had 10 drums, all our music would then be sounding of 10 drums. Because no one's bothered to look outside them. Yeah, because they've had it given to them, and the people that used to look at those things, the guys before that or whatever, the things weren't as simple as they were before, So that's what I'm saying. I feel that it will, when you make it so simple that everyone can do it.
It becomes a kind of formula.
Yeah, it's just there, and it's grids and lines and kits, and it's out of the box.
The way we should discover it is not through a formulated way. It should be definitely outside the box, and we should really just, in a way, we should really like destroy people's realities of how far we can take it. That starts by popping that bubble, taking this bursting the bubble, and thinking outside of the box.
Does technology allow it? Or is it a box that you're stuck inside? I guess that's correct. Yeah?
Some people, I think the majority of people will take it as a box. But then you have the odd people who are the ones that make stuff, and there's not like 10 of those people, there's not hundreds of those people out there, there's usually like one of these people, and then it's a generational thing, or we live off that person, so like one entrance or something, or one this, they're all ones, but those people, they're different.
Who's I mean, in terms of like contemporary music, who would you say is a person that's thinking outside of the box?
I'm not going to go there, because if I say that to you, then he won't know who it is, or he might know.
No, that's what we want.
It gets arsey. Don't do that. No.
I want to know.
It's just personal opinion. That's the thing. Music is a personal opinion. And you've got popular music, and there's nothing wrong with popular music. And there's other things where people that like to discover music. And again, there's nothing wrong with either way. If you don't want to go for all the rigmarole of looking for stuff, and it's just there, the top 40. That's your music, and then no one can knock you. And the guy who does number one is as innovative as the guy that I might think is innovative.
I want to know who you think is innovative.
It's like just to conversate. We'll talk about technology. And then, let's leave it as that. Because I do music, and I've got a lot of names and a lot of things, and it just gets.
No, but that's the thing. I know nothing about music, so I'd like to learn. That's why. And I guess would you like to know, Helen? Are you a musician as well?
No, I'm not a musician. I did engagement in STEM. So we're doing a project around the sound systems and taking that around different classes as part of a blast fest.
Right.
So that's why I'm just kind of making
Okay.
Oh, so you're going to South in your thing, the South system thing,
Okay. All right. Okay. But I mean, I guess there's still that same question is applied to that. Like, that is a continuously evolving technology.
I would say with technology, I think with films and with comics where there's kind of a programming, there's kind of 10 different endings you can choose along the way, what you want the outcome to be, you can change it with the film. So I think it can be a bit like that with technology. I think they're being creative, but it's within this boundary of predisposed outcomes that are set.
So it's just a limited menu in a way. Okay, so how do we think outside the box, I guess?
Do you think you'd have to like rub the wrong way in order to find that next step? So like upset a few people or make people doubt you, would that be a sign that you're in the right direction?
So in a way, what you're saying is you have to go, when you go outside the box, you're actually going to rub people up the wrong way, you're actually going to upset people.
And if not, then should you doubt yourself?
Well, you mean if you're not annoying people, if you're not?
If you go out of the box and everyone likes it, you don't have to rub anyone up the wrong way. Because we all want to do things that people like. We all want things to do that everyone wants to say. And if you are outside the box, everyone goes, great, I really like what you're doing. You're not rubbing it the wrong way. I've been looking for you. And you're here, so that's...
Okay, so you don't necessarily need to annoy people?
No, you just make something that's decent. That's all it is.
Okay, you
it's
just
not
have to...
bad, something decent.
Something, decent and new, I suppose, as well.
Not always new, like you said, not something always be new. It can be existing or in a framework, but it's just how, if it's the right time for it to come out, then that's how it looks to everyone who's from the outside. But if you were the guy who was next to her, you'd be straight like 10 years working the same thing, and then you bust, it took you 10 years to get there.
Yeah.
It was 10 years ago, I think it's like, something like now you get all involved, that you can actually flourish.
Yeah.
But for the 9.5 years, I've been struggling with people looking at me like a mad person, but 10 years is the right time. Then you put a cyclone Hoover by a guy called Dyson.
Yeah.
He was in his shed for many years.
Yeah, okay, so he was tinkering with a Hoover for a long time. We shouldn't call it a Hoover because Dyson would get upset. It's a vacuum cleaner. But, you know, he was playing around with the airflows for a long time before, you know, he hit the sweet spot when everyone wanted a bagless vacuum cleaner. Charlie, what were you going to say?
I don't know if this changes the subject here, maybe it's controversial, but I think some of what we're talking about here, how things are becoming limiting in a way creatively, I think part of it comes down to a social aspect. I think because the way we live with social media today, you know, trends move very quickly, and you get people which are honest themselves, which are true to themselves, and then you get people which sort of jump onto a trend, and to those people that are jumping onto trends, they see themselves as being forward thinking, even though they're not, they're just doing things that are, it's new to them, but it's not new, period. And I think a lot of people don't understand that, and I think, sorry, I might be going way too far out here,
but
it's
I guess what you're saying is a lot of people are just surfing the wave and they're not necessarily driving it, they're just following whatever
and they're not conscious of that. I think that's what it is. That might be controversial, but
I think it's the awareness of what they're working with or what they're
I
was trying to keep it clear.
The privileges that they have, as well as the things that the general outcome, actually, not just the privilege of having it, but it's many ways that you could function with it and not even gravitate to how you're changing. What's the word? Adapting with it in this new kind of world that we're living in.
Right, so in a way we're adapting without really thinking about how we're adapting. We're not really conscious of it. Can we get involved in this? We're talking about how to be creative with technology, how to think outside the box. Instead of just going with the flow, going with the technology, how do you actually just...
I mean, like, if we were to try to think of something that's going to be in the future, you know, so we can see anything you can think of. That you're wildly underestimating what it's going to be like. So if I say in 30 years' time, we're all going to have our own hospitals, right? We're probably going to all have our own hospitals in 15 years' time. And in 30 years' time, you can't imagine what it's going to be like.
Right, okay, mind-blowing stuff here. It's hard for us to imagine the future because we don't know how technology just evolves. And can you see, I mean, would you have your own hospital, Charlie? And if so, would it be
my hospital? I don't go to the hospital enough for that to be necessary for me, but it's like, I don't know, I was going somewhere with this.
I guess we're talking about the unpredictability of
Power station. Everyone's going to have their own power station.
I think what I was going is like, we're talking about how creativity could be limited. I think we've moved so far with technology now, and I think we're passing a stage where it's moving quickly. I think the 20th century, if you look at 1900 to 2000, how much the world changed. Like this is just like a personal belief. I don't think we'll ever see something that kind of rapid growth.
So you don't think the growth will actually slow down?
I think we're reaching that point.
Every generation thinks that though. That they're living in the golden age.
Yeah, 2000, it's like in the Matrix, they designed it for 1999. And then things don't really progress after that, even through Matrix 2 and 3 that were made later. So you're following this on. So basically, yeah, I mean, has the evolution actually slowed down now? And we're just overwhelmed now with technology?
I think it's a combination of the technology with the culture.
Yeah.
Everything's so fast, so accessible, so disposable.
Yeah.
And I think you lose a quality, you don't get a chance to savor anything.
Right.
So you think that a lot of artists now have to wait 3-4 years for their next album, and you'd be, really want them. Whereas now, as soon as you finish listening to the 12 tracks,
there's another 12 come out.
There's a new album every 6 months, like it's too.
Yeah. So we actually benefit
the
from
amount of music that's out there that haven't even got time to listen to access.
Yeah.
Because there's too much.
So not only have people got their own hospital and power station, they've got their own band as well.
We have our own band now. We've got our own studios.
Yeah.
I mean, some people only have one album.
Yeah.
That's it. That's their career over.
Yeah.
One album. Yeah, that's their lifetime.
Yeah. I mean, do you think? From what Helen's saying is that we benefit from slowing down a little bit. Are we going actually? Have we gone too fast? We actually need to slow down to appreciate some of this stuff that's happening.
This is to extend on your point. I think maybe, I'm not sure if you've noticed, but like in sort of like the last 5 years or so, there's been like a lot of nostalgia towards like the 80s and 90s, and I think maybe that might tie into that, because I guess like culture moves in cycles, but it's like I don't know. I feel like there's like a lot more nostalgic-driven stuff over the past 5 years.
What do you put that down to?
Kind of. I don't know. I think it's partly to do with like things slowing down, like technology slowing down, but I think so much being done now.
Yeah. Is it just people catching up because maybe you missed some of this stuff?
Possibly, but I think because that particular period of time, I think so much was done in that period of time that people are nostalgic for that progression then, which we don't have so much of today. That's just my opinion.
Okay. So the nostalgia.
Obviously, CDs kind of killed vinyl and cassette.
Yeah.
Now CDs have died a death, and vinyls come back.
Yeah.
So you want that quality.
Is that a kind of nostalgia in a way?
I do think it's nostalgia, but I think it's an appreciation of a past quality that is still there, but I think it's very much underground quality. The quality is hidden. There's a lot out there. When you start digging, there's so many quality artists out there. But it's mainstream culture, the way that's controlled. I think what your people are programmed to like. They've got a lot of free will they actually have.
Yeah.
They're kind of really programmed to like. To like say.
So in a way, that nostalgia might be there because we just are only gradually escaping that programming. There's so much quality culture being produced that we just haven't even caught up with. So is that what's actually causing that slowdown or that nostalgia?
I mean, I think that nostalgia is really overrated, right? And vinyl. I mean, I bought about 4 inches of vinyl in my life.
Yeah.
Right? Because I didn't have any money. I didn't have any money when I was growing up. So I only bought a few vinyl. But what I did used to do, I used to walk around with 2 cassettes. One to play to people, and the other one to copy what anyone had. Because I grew up in a cassette culture. Right? And even though cassette, it had a worse sound quality. Worse sound quality. Poorer sound quality than vinyl. Right? And then, and then of course the CDs came out, and the record industry was still there because you couldn't copy CDs for about 10 years. and as soon as you could copy it. But the thing about CDs and vinyl, what I think, nostalgia. Vinyl sounds, to me, it hasn't got enough headroom, and it just sounds flat, right? I like CDs because I think CDs sounded better, and I think downloads sound even better. I don't, you know, I think the vinyl nostalgia, that's what it is, it's just nostalgia. Because I don't think it's based on anything practical, I don't think it has any more bass, or any more treble, or any more mid-range at all. And that's what I think. Just an opinion,
Well, this is what Talkaoke is all about.
Hang on, let me just, I just want to come to Charlie.
I think you're partially right. Like it's more of an opinion thing. This is more subjective. But like, in my case, in my personal case, like I do DJ in my free time, and like, I play on radio and stuff. For me, like I like vinyl, but I don't like because it's vinyl. I like the longevity of it, and I like that I can go to certain record shops, right? I can find music which people don't know about. People don't know about it, and it will be going in a bargain bin for like £1. Like, I think people see it as a bit of a trend thing, and I think for certain people it is. But there's other people, it's like people just want to find music, and it's like it's cheaper though. At least in these days, in a certain sense, you like if you know what you're doing, and if you know like the artists and the labels that you like, and you know certain things. You could walk out, you could just go in with a £10 note, and you could have like 10 records, and that's like half a set, like right there. So I think although there's some nostalgia to it, I think also there's so much in that time period. Yeah.
Okay, so Spotify is free, vinyl is very cheap. Whatever.
It's not cheap. I'm saying
it can be cheap.
There's a certain set.
Spotify.
Spotify, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, but you were saying something about sound systems.
But I do agree that the longevity of vinyl, because you know, I mean, if you copy a CD, it might last 2 years, might last 3 years. And buy a CD, it lasts like 5 years, 10 years. If you buy vinyl, man, 40 years later, bam, you can just play it.
After the apocalypse.
But every time you play it, it goes slightly duller. It wears it out slightly. But 40 years as an archival material, I think I would go for vinyl rather than CD.
What were you going to say about sound?
Just saying that I buy vinyl. I've got loads of stuff. That's the story, and it's not about the sound of it. But I was saying to that I know that if I play it on a set and I have a CD on one side and a bit of vinyl on the other side, the vinyl always comes out twice as loud as a CD. I have to work harder with the CD to get it to punch, like vinyl does. Doesn't mean it's a better thing. It just means sound-wise out there on a set, it seems to push out the sound twice as.
I think you might be right, because I mean, vinyl does have a certain compression, because you can't fit all of the can't fit the bass frequencies in vinyl, because it makes too wide of a.
The tracks would be too wide.
Yeah, you have to cut it too wide, you know. You know, and so it does a compression to it. So it gives everything like it is a kind of reel-to-reel kind of sound. It just compresses it, so it does have everything loud up front. While CD, because it's got so much headroom, you can hear something very quiet and something very loud, and it won't have the hiss. You won't have the hiss on the quiet bits as you will with vinyl. That's what I think.
At the end of the day, it's the medium of getting music from vinyl to CD, 8-track I've heard about, 8-track, and many things have come before and after that kind of thing, you know, like cylinders, and it's always the same thing as trying to hear music. So now we're in a place where physically there isn't anything that you actually hold or own. So sometimes I've got stuff where, think about a vinyl or a CD or something physical, you can actually you can see it and go, oh, I forgot about that. The stuff that I've got on my hard drive, I can't remember why. Where it is after a while. I don't know where it is. And I don't know when to listen to it.
The physical vastness of it is kind of important.
It gets lost, because again, there's so much music out there. It's like, if you like music, you try and collect it, And to get to a point, to get a vinyl, or you get something that's got a really good cover on it, and you read things about stuff and what was made, you get to learn who did what and what particular things. If you see a person's name again, yeah, it is. As you read someone's work they've done as you're listening to it.
You can pass that down because it's physical. So say someone subscribes to Apple Music, you're actually renting that, you don't own it. You can't inherit that to somebody, give that to your children when you're gone. But your vinyl collection, it's yours, it's physical, you can touch it, you can smell it, you can look at the artistry on the cover. It's a totally different experience. I'm not a fan of things like the whole virtual reality. I think that's quite strange that there's all these people with all this much experience and someone's immersed in a screen over there. Doing that very
I mean, is there a vinyl version of VR that, you know, like is a bit more of an authentic kind of immersive experience?
A lot of if you look at record sales, people don't buy music in the same way. So fast it's disposable. We don't want to pay for it. You know, most of my I'll go on YouTube. I'll listen to music on there. And also, there's so much choice. Sometimes we think, oh gosh, what's expensive? There's too many things to choose from.
I mean,
because anything's at your fingertips.
I mean, I have to say, for me, when I listen to music, it's just faster for me to get it on YouTube than to look through the record collection and dust off the record and put it on.
What we will pay for is that physical experience of, I won't pay for the music, generally. There's one or two artists I'll buy their music. Generally, I won't pay for it, but I'll pay to see it live. And I'll support it that way, and that's how I can make the money now.
Well, I mean, maybe that's the, you know, to answer the question about, you know, what is the sort of more authentic version of virtual reality, maybe it is that live experience that we're wanting to have rather than this kind of, you know, as you say, the screens and the headsets.
I think it's not all pessimistic. I think there's some good things about it. I think because of the way the world is today, I think, you know, you could easily meet, like with the internet, you can easily meet people online which have similar interests. Like, I think, you know, I'm coming up in music in this era, and it's like, I've met people like, well, I've not met them physically, but I've met them through the internet, and like, they've come from around the world, and they appreciate the music, and I like that, and I think if 20 years ago, you know, that you wouldn't have found those people. Yeah, and that's great.
Hang on a second, let me just got some new faces coming up and see. We've got Helen, we've got Martin, we've got Roger, we've got Charlie, I'm Mikey, what's your name?
Emmanuel.
And Darshan. And like we're sort of talking about, in a way, well, we started talking about, a long time ago, we started talking about technology and how technology is reshaping culture in a way. We started going back to learning, but now we sort of moved on to music and vinyl versus like digital music. And a lot of people have been, we started talking about it because it's about this nostalgia that people have got these days for the 80s and 90s, and that includes a kind of obsession about vinyl. There's a good side and there's a bad side to this, and the good side is that kind of physicality that you get with these things like vinyl. And also, I guess we're talking about the physicality of, you know, culture like virtual reality. Is there a more physical way to have it so that it becomes a bit more compelling than what you see on the screens and the headsets? That's the kind of conversation we're having at the moment. And Charlie's just mentioning that, well, one of the great upsides of the digital world is that you can connect with anyone around the world, which you can't do with somebody who's more physical medium. That's where we are right now. I hope that makes sense. This is Talkaoke pop-up talk show, in case you're not familiar with this, and we'll just talk about any old thing. It's not streamed, but we will upload it. We will put it on our website, peoplespeak.org.uk.
Going back to vinyl as opposed to digital music, you know, I have too much stuff. My house is full of stuff. I got a room, it's full of junk. I got cupboards. I got, you know, and I hate it. I got too much just stuff. I got like records and old CDs. I got DVDs now. I got stuff. I don't want any more stuff. I own a car. I wish I didn't own a car. I would like to just like, I don't want to own anything. I want to own less things. I just have too much stuff. That's what I'm saying.
So in a way, the digital world is a way to actually not have that stuff, or not at least have clutter, because it's all on the file. Instead of having a whole room full of DVDs, you've just got hard disks instead.
But I think that's just a symptom of the modern world of we're programmed to consume, and surround ourselves with things we don't want or need. And that's with everything, I think. And I think most people don't realise your digital footprint also takes up a lot of space and uses a lot of energy just that you don't see. In terms of where all our things are saved, they're saved in centres and units that use a lot of electricity and it's cooled down. It's digital clutter.
I just want to get a final thought from Darshan, an initial thought. Have you got a view on this?
A view?
Just this, well, we're going with technology, you know, are we kind of, have we stopped really going forward and now we're more nostalgic? Are we going to move forward into this digital world?
I think there's the rate at which technology is developing is actually too for us to actually use technology. So I think we need to think about how we're going to it means going back in time and thinking about how we are using it to develop in the past. I think that's my thinking about that.
I mean, that is kind of the conversation that other people have said that. We've kind of progressed too quickly and now actually we need to review some of the things that we've actually missed, you know, like very kind of like, okay, final thought.
I feel like technology is doing very well. As humans, as we sort of develop intellectually, I feel like we will become more capable of tackling these difficulties of managing technology and using it to utilize the way we live and the process in which we store data and all these kind of things. So I feel like with time, our intellectual capacity will grow and so will our use of technology.
So in a way we do need to kind of maybe go back over the books and see what's happened that we might have missed. Well, thanks for stopping, albeit briefly, but I hope you catch your train. I hope that wasn't the final second that we wasted there. Hopefully you'll catch it. Charlie?
The thing about the VR, I think it could be a good thing. I think it could actually be a positive thing. You know, the way social media is. I don't know what it is, and I can't explain the psychology behind it. I think it changes like the way people interact with each other, and not necessarily for the better. I think VR could humanise people a bit more. I think the social media makes people like very unhumanised, and like you don't really see people on like an emotional level. You just see them. You just see text on the screen, so you don't really care about them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so you don't connect properly.
Yeah. So I think VR could change that. Like maybe in the future, like people don't type things anymore. They just get their VR and then maybe they have like a contacts list or whatever, and then I don't know, basically like a phone, except like
more like a party in a way. Isn't it?
I guess so. I don't. It could happen. I don't know. But that's sort of my last thing.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe it's time to thank you, Charlie. Maybe it's time to get Roger.
That's the
Maybe it's time to get some final thoughts because I've been going for a long time. Where do we see technology? What's that?
You can get us off.
You can have a break, you know.
No. You can go in the middle if you want. It doesn't work that way. You're calling us out. I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm doing my
give us a final thought before you go.
Final thought.
And the final thought is really deep.
Deep. Okay.
You didn't say that out loud.
Does technology allow us to go deeper?
Not as deep as what you think.
I think we're in danger of designing ourselves out like computers do.
Right. Okay, so maybe it's not human-centered enough in a way.
If you think that if there was some kind of electromagnetic way that kind of turn off all the lights, internet goes down, most of us could live in for ourselves, don't know how to, make food, find out the lives and goals, like literally without kind of so reliant on technology, could be functional tools without it.
Okay, have we just got too dependent on technology now? If the internet went down, would we not know how to fend for ourselves?
If you think you're bringing driverless cars,
so you won't even know how to drive.
like switching on your washing machine, you turn on yourself, we bring in fridges that will scan the items, then go to shopping list for you, order your food. But we literally won't have to do anything, and then like, what's the, with brains and muscles.
Yeah. Will your brain atrophy with a lack of use? That's the question. Are we actually being designed out of the equation in the end? We'll just be
There's actually
vegetables.
research now that is saying that technology is long life.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong. I can't remember any phone numbers now. I can remember one phone number. I remember one phone number of a friend of mine. I can't remember either my mum's, my sister. I don't know anybody's phone number and my own.
Yeah.
But I don't even want to try and remember a number, let alone even. You don't have to. You don't have to, like you said.
Hang on a second, we've got a new face to the table. We were kind of in the process of kind of, breaking this down and ending it, but I think maybe you've given us the energy ready to go for an extra couple of minutes. We've got Helen, we have got Martin, we've got Roger and Mikey. What's the name? Sia. At the moment, we're talking at the moment about, is technology actually a useful force? Is it creative and cultural, or is it actually making us more stupid? Helen fears that technology is actually making us more stupid, and we can't even get around the place anymore, or do our washing, or go to the supermarket anymore without technology. Are we kind of almost becoming just a kind of vegetable in the machine kind of thing?
I think it depends on the way you use technology as well. I mean, everything can make a situation good or bad. Doesn't matter what it is.
But I mean, do you feel that? I mean, like, Martin can't remember anyone's phone number, and neither can I, and I don't think anyone else can. So is that just one example of us kind of delegating thinking to the machine?
Well, I think the reason for that could also be that we've got many other things to do, that remembering our phone number doesn't really matter, because we know we can just copy and paste it.
If your battery's run out,
I think we know that we've got an option to copy and paste our number, and we don't have to remember it, but if we knew that we didn't have that option, we would probably remember our phone numbers.
So are we just thinking about more interesting things, or are we not thinking at all?
I think that's part of the point, that when there's all this technology and we're told it's going to enrich our lives, it's going to save us time, so we've got more time to do all the things, but all the things we do is just work. If you think about all the things you've got that age and save time, does anyone actually feel like they've got more time? I haven't met anyone that feels like, actually, you know what, I've got more time, I've got an extra 3 hours this week because I've got A, B and C that are going to do these things for me. I don't feel like I have more time.
What are you spending all this
and
time
I think
doing?
even thinking for my children in terms of, they can spend hours and hours and hours, and even I do, but I'm doing for research, I'll say that, but hours on a device, and in their mind, they're connecting, they've lived, they've done something, look at all these pictures, when actually they haven't got out of bed, they've done nothing. So you can have the perception of your living, you're doing, but when you get on the phone, actually, you've done nothing. 3 hours have gone and you've blinked, and you've just been on Instagram taking a few pictures.
So we're saving time to go on Instagram. So basically that mental space.
It gives an illusion. It gives an illusion of interaction, but it's not really there.
Okay. All right. Okay. Is this the end of the? Is this where we're going to leave it?
And if you're going to eat something and have a break,
we need final thoughts. I need closure before we go. So we need a profound and compelling final thought from each and every one of you. In a way, we're ending on a little bit of a negative note because we feel like technology seems to somehow be working. We're working for technology rather than technology working for us. Is that the case?
I think all the technology we have makes us smarter, and the future generations are going to be smarter than us. I really think so, yeah. And I think the younger generation, to me, I think they're smarter than me.
Right.
Because they've got more knowledge at their fingertips.
Right. Okay. So the access to knowledge and they're smarter.
I would agree with that.
Yes.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
It's that same thing. It's the same thing of being handed things. And not having to go to a library, not having to get up early in the morning to go. It's just always at your fingertips to the point where you don't actually retain. It's like the phone number. You don't have to retain information. You just have to Google it for your argument at that particular moment in time. So you want to prove something, you say, okay, we Google it.
Yeah.
And then you forget about it because it's been proven as a fact because it's on the internet. It's not a fact. It's just like that you read that some other guys put on the website that you now call the truth. You haven't got to go look for it. Yeah. So I don't think they're getting smart. I think they're getting nothing. It's just the way that, especially the way that the social media and everything else will focus it to be that your whole life is basically how you appear on social media, or if you're being bullied on social media, or if you're being this, all this thing where it should be just like, you know what, put it down, or do something else. There's many things out there, but we give it the whole thing that we're, like you said, the impression that we're moving forward, and we're giving all these things, and we must be that far ahead, and we're then taking away our freedom, so we're not going out and seeing things because we're looking at the thing. And then you want to go out because we think we don't too much. I've seen it, it's what I go there for.
So you don't even need to go out anymore, you can just go on Google Maps.
Yeah, and see it.
Google Earth and see the world. Final thought?
Much like thought, but you guys sound like an obvious about sound systems, so you do.
Yeah, I can.
So what's your sound system project?
It's well, we've got some funding to. We do something called Blastfest, which is we take STEM, science, technology, and maths to carnivals. So we did Birmingham and Birmingham and Manchester Carnival last year, and we did 7 of us this year, and we're looking at kind of the science behind the sound system, the history behind it, Jamaican RAF. World War II pilots, that kind of went back and the amplifiers and that kind of stuff, and bring that all together for carnival and science.
Sounds like a really interesting project. And in the way it ties in with what we were talking about earlier on about education and different paradigms for education. Because I think there was a conversation, you missed it, sorry, about, you did as well actually, about how can technology inform education and make it a bit more compelling? And we have lots of different, and this sounds like a way of doing it in a way. Final thought?
I mean, it goes back to the same, our focus is power. So if we focus on technology too much on it being the provider of all our everything, then it will have power over us. But if we have power over it and use it to our advantage, then
so it's like some kind of wrestling match in a way?
In a way, yeah, as everything.
Okay. So as long as we've got the power over technology, we've got the power, and we can end it there. Thanks very much, you've got the power. Thanks very everyone for contributing. Do come and join us at the next Talkaoke, which is next Thursday in Portland.